welcome. Go ahead, take a seat. We ran out of office space here, so we're making do. Listen, I don't know if anyone's kind of told you what we're doing today, but we're just gonna have a chat. And honestly, I would prefer to call you by your real name, if that's okay.
Oscar?
Yeah, Oscar Canelis Colocha. Actually, no, we're just gonna stick with Maxwell.
Okay.
Listen, I know that you auto-dub a lot of your content into English. Are you planning on doing that for this interview?
No, this is my normal voice, and I will use it in English. Also, you're a highly respected journalist, Avali.
Thank you. Now, during your time with Counter-Strike, you played for more than 15 teams in 8 years. Was that because you couldn't make friends?
I actually have a lot of friends, but it's hard to make friends in gaming because people are like you, like rude.
It's kind of personal. Did you ever think that maybe in those 8 years that you were the problem? Was it hard for you to leave Counter-Strike for Valorant? Or does being from Catalonia make the idea of separation come easily?
No, it was really easy. It was really easy because I was tired of playing Counter-Strike already and I wanted something new.
Because you aged out of it?
No. How old are you?
That's a very weird question to ask a woman.
No.
Did your mother teach you your manners?
I think women and men are the same.
In what way?
I can ask you anything that you can ask me because we're the same.
When's your next monthly cycle?
But that doesn't have anything to do with your age.
Hold up. We just said that we can ask each other the same questions as man and woman.
I'm gonna answer them.
All right, well, let's move on. You recently became sponsored by Red Bull. I can see it on your shirt.
Yes.
Is that because being over 30, drinking it is the only way that you could stay awake?
I'm not gonna get rage baited by that.
It's fine. Why do you think that's a rage bait?
Your attitude.
My attitude?
Yes.
This is just the way my face looks. Now, Red Bull says that you were, quote, considered by the vast majority of fans to be one of the most charismatic professional players in the esports scene. By majority of fans, did they just mean your mom?
It does mean what?
Sorry, I didn't auto-dub it. Red Bull says that you were, quote, considered by the vast majority of fans to be one of the most charismatic professional players in the scene. But by majority of fans, did they just mean your mom?
Oh. That's a lame one.
Your mom is lame?
No, my mom is not
That's
lame.
incredibly rude. She gave life to you.
Yes. But no. I mean, it's a lame question. It's a very lame question.
I'll be sure
you can do better.
I'll be sure to let our writers know.
Yeah. Do it because...
Look straight into the camera and tell our writer that you just don't think he's doing a very good job.
You probably chat GPT the question or something. You need to, I don't know, do your research.
You're the owner of Club Otakar. I'm glad that you could come to EWC, but why didn't you bring your club with you?
Because we're starting. We're new. We have only a Valorant team and we need more to compete in the rankings and everything.
Is that just your way of saying that you're broke?
Yeah.
Did you turn to team ownership in the hopes of being less unsuccessful?
Less unsuccessful?
I mean, can your club beat any team that is not named LK?
That's a good one. That's actually a good one. You did your research there.
Thank you.
We can. We've done it.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Right? When you retired from gaming to go into streaming, was it tough to transition from a job playing video games all day to a job playing video games all day poorly?
No, it wasn't.
A challenge frightens you?
No.
Now, we have had our fun, but I do have one final serious question for you, if that's okay. When you eat oatmeal, do you prefer it to be lumpy or do you mix well?
I don't eat oatmeal. I just eat tortilla.
Tortilla?
Yeah, it's like
I live in California. It's like we almost invented tortillas.
No, but not that kind. I lived in California as well, but you're talking about something else.
I'm talking about like Taco Bell, right?
No. You mix
Chalupa.
the eggs.
No, you get this from the supermarket. It's flat, it looks like a Frisbee, you could chuck it.
No. That's the Mexican tortilla, it's not the Spanish one.
Who came first?
Yo, I'm done. Can I leave or no?
Yeah. Well, hold up, we still have a couple more. This isn't even your floor!
This one? Nah, that's not it. What do I have to decide now? Maybe this.
Leo, hurry up right now. You got 5 seconds till the show starts.
What do you mean 5 seconds? I'm trying to decide what hat I'm wearing.
What do you mean decided? Today's the decider day. All the big teams are playing. They're going to be decided today. Come on, come on, come on. We gotta go. We gotta go.
Fine.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Esports World Cup. Today is day 2 of the MWI.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion.
Come on, brother. That's how we do. That's what you do.
Everything counts indeed, Cheryl. Today, every single match will be tournament life on the line. We'll have a lot of keys crushed and a lot of keys surviving to go for day 4 playoffs. Every single match is important. Today, it's about who survives.
The stakes have never been higher, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you have seen the highest level of play possible here at MWI, and it's only going to get better at this point. $500,000 are up for grabs, and we are about to see eventually who walks away as our EWC 26 champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with day 3 of MWI.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2026 Esports World Cup. It's day 3 of the MWI. We have a couple more decider matches, and then we move into our knockout stage. Single elimination, 1 life to live, or your key is crushed. You want to be champion, you got to make it through the gauntlet. It's never easy, but being a champion never is. Welcome into the studio. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, Brigida, LaFell. Welcome to the desk, LaFell. How you doing? How was Stream B?
Oh, I love it, man. Over here, you guys got a lot of cool stuff, I gotta say, in Stream B. Especially yesterday, it was amazing because the ladies played with a lot of heart as well as trust, because every single game went the distance. It went over 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as you consider Stream B to stand for B as the better stream.
You started that day 1.
I remember that.
Day 1, what was up with that, man? Hey, either way, we're now on the same desk. We're bringing it together as a team, and we just watched them, I guess, playing a match over there with the stage host. You know Cheryl won that, okay? Bottom line period, smacked up Rob and Damascus. Today's going to be a great day, though, for sure, even for our first matchup that's going to be starting. But let's recap at least the past couple of days, because we've had some great matches. And I want to start with the biggest one that we had with the biggest storyline. It was Vitality versus Gen.G. This matchup was historic. Of course, grand finals from last year. LaFell, it was, of course, Vitality getting the win, and they did so in a convincing fashion. The question now remains, who are the contenders to challenge Vitality?
Actually, I feel like that was a very good match for Gen.G because I feel like that exposed a lot of the mistakes that Gen.G really did. And I feel like they have to go through this for them to eventually become champions, because in 2025, they start off very shaky. After a good loss against one of the NAVI teams, they started like, you know what? Now we know what's wrong. They fixed it and went all the way to the grand final. So I think that was necessary for them.
Ooh, that's tough now that you mentioned that, because we're assuming that this was a better spot for Gen.G, and they are going to go up against NAVI later on today. So that puts NAVI in a position which is equally as dangerous, because they too, I think, have just very recently discovered what really works for them. And we're hoping that we see it continued and maybe not a bit too experimental in this very crucial match.
And Bree, obviously, we'll be taking a look at our schedule in just a little bit. A lot of great matches to take place. However, we need to catch you up, especially if you're just joining us for the first time, because there's been a lot going down. Check out the recap.
C'est magnifique. Bonjour, welcome. This is the morning here in Paris. I'm having coffee alongside with Athena, which by the way, you look amazing. How are you feeling?
It is an amazing day. I feel excited, especially it's a day 3 for MWI.
Yeah, not gonna lie, this feels like a date. Either ways, yesterday was amazing, at least for Stream B. The girls, they played with heart, with passion, with trust, because every single game of ours, Athena, 3-way elimination, it went over 20 minutes every game.
When there's love, there is also heartbreak, right? But forward over to Stream A, we had quite a few surprises. We were able to finally see the Ling and Fanny showdown from Fa and Nara. Quite an awesome surprise for a few of us who were waiting for that Assassin Jungler matchup.
Well, we still have more games for today. We'll see who advances to the knockouts, but for now, we're gonna enjoy our coffee. Au revoir.
Think you had something on your lip after drinking that coffee. I'm jealous you guys got some coffee. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some in just a little bit. But the energy behind me is getting me lit up regardless. Let's take a look at our schedule. We've got a lot of great matches. Bree, you kind of alluded to it, but these are going to be the first two, and you're specifically interested in Gen.G versus NAVI.
Yep, we still have 2 decider matches, at least on Stream A, because we will have 2 other more also happening simultaneously on Stream B. But for now, it's going to be Twisted Minds alongside Falcons Vega ID and Gen.G versus NAVI to close it out here on Stream A.
Ooh, and Seda returns against VP. Team Falcons Meta versus Foot Esports. There was a lot of hype around Seda and how they were going to be developing the meta. Let's see if they can continue to live. Why do they want to? Well, because there's a lot of money on the line, right? We're talking $500,000 up for grabs, $150,000 going to first place. That money can be highly useful in whatever you would like to spend it on. $500,000, LaFell. MWI is awesome.
That is life-changing money. Basically, every single time we've seen champions came out of EWC, a lot has changed for them, but it's all for the positive. They basically reinvest into themselves just to make sure that they can keep qualifying to EWC every single year.
Yep, and on top of that, I feel like even finals MVP awards too and prize money is another topic that we aren't really sure who to expect will eventually get that title anyway, because based on the matches so far, I know we've had a day 1 full of 2-0s. Yesterday, we had some of them too, but it was much closer than we thought, especially on Stream B, when there's tournament life that's on the line.
Well, NAVI, they're going to be playing today, but they also had a chance to play a mini game called True or False.
MWI at EWC 2026 is what you're watching, and now I got 2 special guests with me. I got Ira and not Ayanami. We're going to be playing a very fun game, True or False. Let's start with our first statement. Chip is Angela's adoptive sibling. 1, 2, 3.
False.
Ooh, you guys guessed wrong. It's actually true.
Right.
Freya is known as the Battle Maiden. 1, 2, 3.
False.
Okay, not Ayanami. You got it right. MWI at EWC 2026 Grand Finals falls on the 19th of July. 1, 2, 3.
True.
It's false though. Oh my God. Brute Force Breastplate is made up of 4 pieces of equipment. 1, 2, 3.
True.
False.
Ira, you are wrong. It's true. Brute Force Breastplate is made up of 4 pieces, and so not Ayanami is up 2-0. Jusin has the ability to summon Ember Dragonflies. 1, 2, 3.
True.
It's a tie, but unfortunately you're
Give me
both
points.
wrong on this one. No points
Still don't have
for
points.
Ira. We're gonna give you a real hammer, and you're gonna have to smash her down, all right? Oh, dang. That's how we do it here at MWI EWC 2026. If you guys want to see them compete, tune in to the matches. We'll see you later.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
Not gonna lie, that true or false was quite fun. Even our desk was getting involved and maybe did even better than the players. I'm not so certain, to tell you the truth, but either way, they know what they're talking about, and so does our co-streamer. We got a lot of co-streams taking place, and Rain is one of them. Let's bring him in and talk to him and catch up with everything that's happening at MWI. Rain, what's going on, man? How you doing for day 3?
I'm good, man. I think it's such a lovely place, France, in terms of their food, their culture here, their scenery. All good, man.
Well, France might be nice, in Paris especially, but how's the MWI shaking up for you?
There's a lot of unexpected outcome. I never expect that there's certain team from Cambodia and also from Arab that play really good, especially in terms of using mechanical heroes like Fanny, Ling, and giving me a lot of surprise, man.
Hey, Rain, kapa? Everything okay dekat sana? You are over there. Say hi, Rain.
Sehat, alhamdulillah.
Say hi, alhamdulillah. So, Rain, just gotta ask, Team Ray Young, they look amazing. How was that for you? And Arya's playing for Gen.G. So, how you feel looking at them play for the past 2 days?
For Team Ray Young, I already expect they will qualify for knockout stage. I know they are one of the best because since they also defeated Malaysian best lined up during qualifier. And also for Gen.G, I really hope they can go through, man, because knockout stage without Arya, without Gen.G, without Ashley is quite weird for me, So I'm hoping they can give like a good draft and also good gameplay for this time.
Okay, so at least we might just see, so that might just suggest the potential matchup that Rain wants to see, But I'd like to go back to what was previously mentioned by Rain earlier on. There were a lot of unexpected picks. You mentioned it earlier here in MWI. But for at least the past 2 days, we've seen a certain trend in the meta. Do you think this is something that we might see carried over once we get into MSC? Or do you think it's going to be a bit different?
I think personally it's going a bit different. For women's scene, I noticed that most of the teams give priority towards comfort hero or comfort picks. But for male team, most of the teams are really comfortable with a lot of heroes and can play counter draft really good. But I'm not saying that women incapable playing mechanical heroes, okay, but it's just in terms of data, they just playing heroes that really the identity of their own team. There are teams that play hero like assassin, but there are also certain teams that playing utility jungler.
Well, Rain, it's a pleasure to have you, of course, in the venue. You're going to be watching MWI, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to catch up with you in future days. After all, after this, we still have 2 more days left for the knockout stage. Hey, if you guys didn't know, EWC has the creator program, and it's super cool, and it gives you an opportunity not only as a competitor, but a creator, or however you'd like to get involved, more in depth with EWC. This is a brand new thing. It just started this year, and it's quite special indeed. Your EWC journey starts here. Join the Esports Foundation, and hey, you get a lot of prizes as well and some merch. Who doesn't love that? They'll set you up, and that's the beautiful thing about it. You join the creator program, you get involved, scan that QR code, and they'll give you everything you need potentially in order to obviously be the best creator you can possibly be. And of course, being a part of the Esports World Cup is one of the biggest honors that you could possibly have as a competitor. Hey, Rose, I hear you're catching up with some of the competitors. Who are you running into?
Bonjour, everybody. Good morning. As we enter day 3 of MWI, we are here with the girls as they are arriving in the arena. And the first team I am seeing is Twisted Minds. Hello, good morning. Are you ready for today?
Yeah, we're ready.
So, how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
10. Is there any words that you have to say to the viewers?
Support us, guys.
Period. Thank you very much. Bye. I'll see you later. And of course, we have more of the girls coming out of the buses. Let's see. Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
You're excited for today's match?
Yes, but it will be easy for us.
Oh, easy? Why do you think it's going to be easy?
Because we always match with the Falcon Mina and always we win.
You always win. So you think it's going to be an easy 2-0?
What?
You think it's going to be easy 2-0?
Yeah.
Okay, good luck. I'll see you later. Wow, confident, I see. Now, let's see who else is here. You know what? Hello again.
Hello again.
How are you today?
Doing great.
You're doing great. How excited are we for the match today?
like rolling and excited because I'm so ready.
Because you're so ready.
Yeah, I want to take a 2-0 today.
You want to take a 2-0 today? Who are you going up against today?
I'm not sure yet because I don't know which team we're gonna choose yet. So it's depend on our coach.
But it's gonna be a 2-0 either way.
Yeah.
Girl, good luck. I'll see you later. Bye. Ooh, the girls are rather spicy and confident this morning. I cannot wait to get started. So with that, let's show it back to you guys.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion.
Comes to show you, sometimes you don't even need to know who you're playing. You just know you're going to dominate them either way in a 2-0 win. Thank you, Rose, for catching up with the players as they're heading into the venue, and they're going to be taking the stage in just a moment's time. Speaking of which, it's time for our crunchy story of the day, and it's going to be one of our first matchups, too. It's Twisted Minds versus Falcons Indonesia. Family becomes the enemy. The history on both rosters runs deep. This is going to be a fun matchup.
Yep, I agree. And I think that's also why even Eterna has been very vocal about she's so not used to seeing Chinchao on a different team, or maybe even them split up in general, because these members, at least for the 3 players we're seeing partake in this first best of 1, have been together ever since the beginning, in the very first MWI, even when they were still Team Falcons Vega, and now they have, well, they will have some sort of reunion, but
in a way
on the other side of the team.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, LaFell? Falcons Indonesia, they did take an early loss in our tournament. It raised a lot of questions on how good this roster truly was going to be. After all, they were considered a contender to Vitality, but they fell short. However, they picked themselves up ever since.
And I feel like if they're looking at the matches that Twisted Mind has, they have one common ground, which is Twisted Minds always win, I would say, this first 2 minutes all the way to the 12-minute mark. But then all of a sudden, they give over the map to their opponent. So I feel like for Twisted Mind, they gotta fix that. If not, they're gonna fall against Falcons ID.
Yeah, the big story again, when family becomes the enemy. Chinchao versus Maylane, they will face each other and only one side survives. So adds even more layers, right? Only one team can move forward. Who's it gonna be? It's up to them to decide. Not gonna be an easy matchup at all. And Indonesian representation on both rosters.
Now here's the thing, honestly, this is something quite interesting for a Twisted Mind, because Maylane is known as an assassin player, but so far she's only been using tanks in the jungle. And Chinchao is really moving away from the meta. She has an amazing carry, but she even brought a 1-1 into the game. So I'm really looking forward to see if they will play the same, or just against Falcons ID, they'll change it up.
Gotta change it up though. Bree, what do you think?
Well, Team Falcons ID, for sure, they've already changed their very own play styles. I think in the first day, we got to see them be, I think, a bit more confident with the more high skill ceiling or demanding lineups in terms of execution. But when we saw them come into their second series and simplify things a lot more, that's when execution seemed a lot better for them. That's when they were able to play the better early to mid game, and that's where maybe we see some of the contrast, because if Twisted Minds tend to be shakier towards the mid to late portions of the game, then Twisted Minds or Team Falcons ID, I think, are a team that you should watch out for when it comes to the late game, when they get their snowball.
And I'm going to add some more layers to that in just a second. But for all of you guys out there, hey, it's Rhino Day! Brand new interactive effect for Rhino Day is available now. Check it out and join the celebration. Get involved. Hey, we got some great stuff coming your way, especially for you MLBB players out there. And again, adding more layers. So Twisted Minds so far, the club championship race, have yet to get any points. They're currently sitting at 0. This is a valuable opportunity for them to stay alive and get closer to getting the first club championship points for that roster. Now for Falcons, obviously back-to-back champions in the club championship race for EWC 2024 and 2025. But they're a little bit far down than they probably want to be. So for the club championship race, LaFell, this matchup matters.
Oh yeah, for sure, because I really feel like for both teams here, Falcons ID as well as Twisted Minds, it's like having seen them backstage, they're really trying to balance out having enough pressure so that you're playing with focus in the game, but at the same time, not too much that you overthink it, because that is something that the players do where it gets too intense that they start to I would say, have brain fog in the middle of the game.
Yeah, fortunately though for Team Falcons, right, in terms of the club championship, they will also have Team Falcons MENA still fighting later on for another qualification match. So I think this is a day where Team Falcons fans really want to pay attention to.
Absolutely. Team Falcons fan, you got to send them your energy because they're going to need to build up that spirit bomb because things start to get real. Now, I mentioned that Indonesian pride represented for both rosters. And when we specifically talk about Twisted Mind, they got Coach Nasdux, and he has the understanding of the Indo region. Do you think this is going to be a big buff for Twisted Minds?
Not just that. Yes, they have a good idea of what Falcons ID want to bring up, but I got to bring up a name called Sa. She's the mid laner of Twisted Minds, and I feel like she helps the coach so much because her hero pool is so wide. I believe she has 7 to 8 heroes in the bank. So the moment the coach sees a weakness in the draft, Sa is going to be the one to exploit it. So I'm really looking forward to see what kind of hero Sa in the mid lane will be using.
I agree, because it's not like she started with the more meta picks and then eventually revealed to us more of the unconventional mid lane picks. She started strong with the likes of a Kagura and the Lilia to introduce the hero pool that seemingly is a huge threat for Twisted Minds. So now that we are in that position where you really don't know what to expect from Sa and the rest of the members, I think there's a slight advantage as well on their side, aside from the Indonesian coach also being familiar with their playstyle. Because again, it's a reunion. So definitely Mei Lane, Chin Chao, they pretty much know how Violet is playing.
So if Sa's so good, I believe on the opposite side for mid for Falcons will be Livy, if I'm not mistaken. So how does Livy counter Sa? How does Livy pull herself up and outperform Sa in Twisted Minds?
Personally, for me, you got to ignore Sa because Sa will try to catch you, but your target should be someone else. I feel like if Livy is able to take out Chincha, that would be a great help for the team because yesterday at the second turtle, usually the gold lane don't join, but Chincha did, and she immediately almost wiped out her opponent. So you got to look for someone else. Don't look for Sa. Sa is going to be too difficult to handle.
What about our jungle battle, though? You got Melon going against Zev. It's past versus present, and it is a little bit deeper than just, okay, I'm going to play my opposite jungle competitor. No, because of the history they both have, I feel they're going to give 150%.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why we're interested to see if they're sticking with the heroes that they've used in their previous matches, because if then so, it's going to be a utility versus assassin matchup that's pretty much going to happen. Only unless the Hirara gets open, because I think it's only the Hirara that Mei Lane has considered in the jungle apart from the tanks.
But that's also where we have to talk about the stats here because interestingly enough, Hirara after 2 days have only 1 victory. And funny enough, Hanabi is a marksman that rarely gets picked, but so far, at least in Stream B, only has 1 loss.
Overall, I think the Hanabi is on a 40% win rate, which is not as bad as you would expect because in context of a tournament, it's really tough to like stack on those win rates in general as a hero. But I think we've seen multiple approaches to how it's being used as well. Like be it an Aegis Hanabi, just going up against the Harley and making sure that the Aegis keeps you alive from the deadly magic. There are multiple approaches to this, and I think we have yet to explore its full potential.
LaFell, this is the most personal matchup we have had yet. Of course, we mentioned Vitality Gen.G, granted grand finals last year, but in terms of friendships, pride, former allegiances, they now clash into this one decider match. How do you prioritize that as a competitor? How do you put that to the wayside and simply focus on the game?
That's an amazing question. I got to talk about Chincha because Chincha has been playing since 2021. Now it's 2026. Multiple times she tried to get onto the EWC stage, but was stopped short by Team Vitality. So right now, I really feel like she wants that revenge, and one step at a time, she got to win against Team Falcons. For now, looks like Falcons ID will be first pick, Twisted Minds on the second pick, Dangerous Grass will be the map. Matilda as well as Esmeralda immediately banned out, which I do like. Now the Marcel as well as the Hirara. So this does show that perhaps they just want to fight against a jungler that doesn't want to fight a little bit too early.
Yep, probably also full respect onto Kao and the way that they're just able to complement Chin Chao in the gold lane, because the Mathilda has been working wonders for them whenever they do go and stick with utility lineups. So that might tend to alter their decisions by just a bit, but right now, as of the moment, I think there are multiple options out there that are still open for Team Falcons. They haven't been using the Atlas recently though, so maybe some of the mid lane options could be considered here.
I mean, like, Belleric also has to come into the conversation because in Group B, only 1 or 2 losses for the Belleric. Belleric has been winning a lot, but looks like they will prioritize the Eve here. And I feel like Twisted Mind, they're still okay with it because Saha has a map in her head. You pick A, I have a different kind of option. Usually she would pick up something like the Kagura to burst out this immobile mages. I don't know if she will go for that because sometimes, even if it doesn't make sense, she will go for something like the Valentina or the Lilia.
Yeah, but something that makes sense though is the Claude, which I think Xin Chao will be using for the first time here in MWI, a direct answer to the Eve that they've already decided to pick up. And now Twisted Minds, that's the thing. If you mentioned Saw, they could probably save that for Red 3 and pick up a different priority here, which is the Atlas that we previously mentioned.
Something that we have to check out here, they prioritize the Eve, so perhaps they do want a carry, which has been performing very, very well in Stream B, and part of the reason why Claude hasn't been prioritized so much. Another pick later on could be something like the Hive. I would not like a Hana Beam, maybe blue 4, blue 5 is fine for now. I think they gotta pick a jungler.
I mean, they did ban out the Esmeralda. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but carry, I think, definitely the better option since Twisted Minds usually does go for the utility junglers. So you're expecting the more beefy heroes to eventually come out here in the draft, but they instead prioritize the Sora first, and there you go, they lock in the carry.
I feel like the Sora was to deny a potential Gort pick, and I feel like the carry was to potentially deny a Barats. And like I said, they're going to pick up the Valentina here, going to have a lot. But here's the thing. You don't know if it's going to go mid or the EXP. So far in MWI, we haven't seen the Valentina go to the EXP just yet, but now they have that option.
That's true. Daisy has been very flexible on the EXP lane, already using even the damage type of EXP laners or even the Soras. But now, I think it's going to be a much better position now for the Valentina Atlas because they've already taken out the Belleric. So that's one huge answer already taken out by Twisted Minds.
Yeah, so right now, honestly, Twisted Mind, they got to respect this carry. Carry has been a monster here in MWI. We really have to see where this Valentina is going. If she's going to the EXP, I'm looking for something like a Farsa that can burst carry out very fast. If not, something like a Yuzong, something like a Benedetta, which has been going on pretty well in Stream B. I die, sure, but as long as I take you with me, I'm good with that trade.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Twisted Minds are feeling that this is gonna go mid or EXP, and if they want to force it on a specific role, because they're taking their time thinking of what they want to ban here in the second phase. But they're going to focus on the jungle instead. Understandable. Twisted Minds.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I don't think they've picked up a Fanny just yet, but I think it's just one of the options here if you're talking about Mei lane.
Yeah, this is the advantage and disadvantage, right? When you have a very well-known player on your team, you kind of know what are their comforts, you know their specialties here. So I'm really looking forward to what kind of jungler they're going to be picking up. I'm thinking something like the Hayabusa would work well. Something like the Lancelot has been okay. I wouldn't say it's really the best. And honestly, for this lineup, I can see a potential Suyo coming out of Twisted Minds.
Oh, so this is indeed going to be slightly different from the usual playstyle that you get to see from Twisted Minds. Although, with the Claude, I think Xin Chao being able to join in the teamfights will be much easier too, so there won't be much difficulty in terms of just trying to ramp up the pace and getting the gold early on, regardless of the kind of jungler they use. But this is the question. Is it going to be the EXP lane revealed to us or the mid lane, or do they just lock in their jungler immediately on?
I think the strategy should be just pick up your jungler here because it's a deny as well from Falcon's ID. And then later on, you see where this Valentina fits the best. If you're going to talk about tank jungles, I don't like it just because you're going up against a carry as well as an Eve. Only the Barats is okay here. Fredrin, we've not seen a lick of Fredrin at all. Oh, a Guinevere. A Guinevere would also actually serve quite well for Twisted Minds if they want to go for the utility route. If not, I think a Suyo wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, and they can link it up with the Atlas too. I think we've seen that Fatal Link Spatial Migration combo happen a couple times. But they save it for last. At least they match the Sora with an damage EXP later as well. And at least they have someone to hunt down these backline heroes from Team Falcons.
Rick, this is something that we have to talk about, where the mid duo has been quite a big attention here in MWI. We were talking about how side lanes, they like to trade, but mid, it really does look like after one wave, someone has to go home. The question is who? I wonder if with this Yuzong, there might be an early rotation into the mid just to make sure they have that priority.
Yep, because we don't know what kind of roamer Team Falcons actually are going to pick up just yet. Raymond, there have been instances where they do pick up the Hylos and the Belleric,
which both been banned.
They're both banned. The Hilda feels like it's not an option you could immediately go for just because you don't know what kind of jungler Twisted Minds is actually going to consider just yet. But if they really just want to take out the option of an assassin, which they don't because they go Gatot Kacha and Harley to finish up their draft.
I feel like they pick up the Gato Kacha because you need a hero with Revitalize just to make sure that you don't lose out in those mid trades, which so far has been very, very important. If they want to go very aggressive in the mid, I really feel like something like a Suyo or a Guinevere would work out very, very well. Looking at the lineups here, it does seem that I would say it's a skill matchup for both side lanes, the EXP as well as the gold. So I feel like for the first 2 minutes, not much will happen. If something does happen, that means something really wrong just happened.
Yeah. So what jungler are they going to consider here? Is it the Suyo or
I would
are they
prefer
really
Gwyn.
sticking with a Guinevere? Because others are like only the Akai is left at this point if you're talking utility.
Oh, yeah.
So if okay, they're going
Hayabusa.
assassin.
Yeah, I feel like the Hayabusa is also a very solid pick. Just be careful of the Gato Kacha because again, he has that Revitalize, so timing is going to be very important.
I agree. This is going to wrap up our lineups. It's Harley and a Hayabusa going up against each other. A lot of iframes on the line.
When family becomes the enemy, what do? Do you focus on the history and let it affect you in the game, or do you put it to the wayside and destroy your opponents? This is going to weigh heavy on the minds of Twisted Minds and Team Falcons Indonesia. As they go toe-to-toe, the history will ignite. The players are ready, and it's time to get into our first game of MWI Day number 3. Athena, Gideon, take it away.
Thank you so much, Reflections. We come into our very first series of the day, and a banger series as well, with both compositions designed to attack your opponents with wombo combos, to attack that back line. It's going to be a skill matchup like LaFell said, but Athena, look at this. We're finally here.
We're looking forward to seeing some flashy clashes as early as possible here for both Team Falcons and for both Twisted Minds. And looking back, we've mentioned that this is kind of a mini reunion, right? But that reunion wouldn't be stretched so far because this is still a lower bracket matchup between them and also a deciding match.
It's really important that any one of these teams are going to be closing out the series 2-0. But for now, let's see how this early game is going to progress with so much on the line. The pressure is on, especially when we start looking down at the gold lane. Jin Chao versus Liv. So far, we're already seeing Bargain Hunter being taken by Liv, confident that, hey, I'm going to get my 3 items faster than you.
So far, we've seen a lot of teams do this as well on the gold laners. It's all about balancing. But now, for Raimundo, it's all about protecting the jungle for Seb as well. But that wouldn't be the case, as Maylin will still be able to pick up some of those jungle creeps in the process.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. When you have first rotation and priority from the EXP lane, you can make these aggressive motions. With a small camp already done, Zev just hits level 4 just on time. But if you look on the opposite side, Maylin just has a lot more EXP and gold to work with in her own jungle. So we need to see the response from Falcons, because it looks like it's on towards Daisy's side.
Okay, there's kind of a bit of a reaction here for Sev and Valet, but it looks like for Twisted, they're just waiting for an objective to actually spawn out, and it's all about maintaining the tempo, not yet really the diving in here for Twisted Minds, but still, it's a Raimundo and Sev in the vicinity of the neutral objective.
Let's see what Sa is going to take. It's really important to have the correct ults for the right situation, and so far it's a 50-50 with both sides controlling 2 opposite ends of the turtle pit.
Maybe it's best if she could copy or be in the vicinity where Liv is at, and that is exactly what she's doing, but no! She is going to copy Violet's ultimate rather, but still, it doesn't make sense. She slowly backs away. maybe it's all because Melee is still not ready yet. Falcons here still focusing onto the turtle. Seb will be securing that one. The box is here, and it's going to be a takedown immediately onto Livy. Free hit here for Twisted Minds. Follow up instead here for Falcons, and they get a double kill as early spots here for Violet, and not stopping there, forcing out the flickers, immediately taking down the jungler. That's too much of advantage here for Falcons.
Zero hesitation from the side of Falcons. Zero hesitation from Violet. A really good way to zone out Maylin, who can close that distance and hop into the pit if she finds the angle. So far, Falcons have controlled this very, very well. They've already forced out a bunch of battle spells from the side of the Twisted Minds. And at this point, Daisy just trying her best as Zev is getting chucked down.
Okay, that's a hefty amount of damage that Daisy is inflicted on, and Violet yet again with a kill. That is immediate. That is immediate annihilation here for Team Falcons, and it's quite looking good. They're preventing the snowball. They're preventing Melee to actually get those numbers rolling as fast as possible.
Now, there are bigger things happening in play. All these early game deaths coming in from Daisy, it's going to start affecting the mid and later stages of the game. Daisy is not going to be so strong enough to be able to one-shot some of the backliners. Zev is probably the only one, but even then, you're going to need that Petrify, which is coming up in 2 seconds. For now, another kill should be happening here. Fatal links into the next, but again, out of position and no control over the goal to support.
Okay, that is kind of tricky here for Twisted Minds. There are a lot of mishaps happening around the map. Even the AOG committed here for Raimundo. Chin Chao definitely will survive, but at what cost? She is kind of delayed in terms of the XP right now, and even the gold shields has already been kind of staggered over here for Team Falcons. Now, we also have to take notice that Twisted Minds really doesn't have the capability to assert their dominance yet, all because of what Daisy has gone through in terms of the aggression here for Raimundo and as well as Violet. But now they try and level things up here onto the mid lane. How? Okay, just on standby, reserving the frigid breath if ever, and Team Falcons yet again starts off with immediately getting a neutral objective yet again.
Now, finally, Black Dragon form early as they're going to make the attempt on towards the turtle, and now RWM!
Okay, neither can test this one. It's still Seb securing the neutral objective, jumping in onto the backlines is Violet and Raimundo. What a double initiation onto the members, and the jungler yet again caught in the crossfire. Even the shadow kill, I think that might be it. It is early double kill yet again for Violet. Daisy trying to run away. After the Guardian will miss out, Daisy trying to run as fast as she can, but the Void Crystal and Void Blast will be enough to ensure a kill for Falcon.
Good flicker coming in from Livy, just a little bit off, just a little bit more damage to secure it, and Livy is willing to sacrifice her defensive tools for this upcoming fight. Keep in mind, in 84 seconds, the next neutral objective will spawn, and we have yet to see a single tower be destroyed 5 minutes into this game. I think Falcons, at this point, with a 7-1 lead, they've taken everything that they've wanted to, and now are going to start invading into enemy territory.
This is kind of tricky here for Twisted. I just saw Maylin build up her Sky Piercer. So if ever that she's already confident onto the jungler, now she's also going to have a harder time to ensure those kills, because for Team Falcons, it's all about the discipline and grouping up together. They are built for that, especially with the box that Vivi can create with her real-world manipulation.
Look at how crazy this goal difference is. 1.8k for an EXP laner of Violet's caliber. 5-0-0, having the perfect game and making sure that they are blunting the tip of the spear that Twisted Minds needs to be able to get into that back line and threaten Liv and threaten Zev. At this point, I think that Twisted Minds, either they figure out a way how they want to progress this fight, or they anticipate Raimundo catches.
Oh, yet again, what a great catch here for Raimundo, forcing out a shadow here. It's all about surviving the next few clashes that Falcons is attempting to do. Cow with a frigid breath. There's going to be a copy though, or the Amir. But instead it's Daisy falling down immediately. Front runners are being melted down here from Twisted Minds, and that's the thing. We were expecting Daisy to have fun. We were expecting her to get access to the back laners for Falcons, but instead, it's Falcons getting easy access to her. Besides here for Violet, it's Sad trying to run away with a copied version, and instead, it's the turret being taken down. It's Falcons getting most of those advantages.
They know, and Jin Chao gets caught by this. Unfortunately, not enough damage. Really good timing from Jin Chao. So far, out of all the members of Twisted Minds, it seems that Daisy is the most jumpy in these types of situations. Everybody else is just a little bit calmer. I think that's snuck in one more auto attack after that cloud shift, she can almost guarantee herself a double kill underneath that tier 2. But for now, Twisted Minds, they've made 2 back-to-back mistakes here, and so far, the pressure is surmounting as Falcons now creating a mountain of gold, 5.9k, hovering around that area as Jinchao cannot deal with just the raw economy of Zev.
If earlier it was just a mountain, now it's the Mount Everest they're up against here on the Falcons. You beat a takedown and all of that fell onto the hands of Sev. That's a 107 onto Hardy. Meanwhile, on the top lane, it's Liv and Raimundo versus 2 members. AOG here just to save her. Ensuring a kill as well. A kill is pretty early for Liv with the free hits. Main lane may not be safe anymore. It's Raimundo following up with the taunts. There's going to be the fatal links committed here by Cow. But no, it's Twisted Minds failing to do a trade against Falcons. Plus, a quick transition and conversion of a kill onto a turret as well.
Outplayed by just 2 members, a 3v2 scenario, and somehow it is still in Liv's favor. Getting hit by the Petrify, getting hit by the full combo coming in from Daisy, but not enough to trigger the Shao residue to guarantee the kill. Either ways, Twisted Minds are in very dangerous territory. If we were talking about, well, I would say it's more of a K2 situation rather than a Mount Everest. Once we get to 10k, that's when it's Mount Everest. People are gonna die going on the way to the peak.
And that's the thing. Daisy is dying out here. All because of that early double or back-to-back takedowns onto the early phasing of our game. Now, I do believe that even though they got this skills or skits that they could contest this Lord, it will be better if they just leave things be and prevent the next casualty from happening. But Sev won't relax at all. Cow on the other hand with a clutch frigid breath. BMI, Sev is attempting to isolate the members of our Twisted Minds. A chase down and a Petrify play out to Sev. She will be able to escape. Okay, there's going to be a deadly magic here.
She's out.
Okay, she's trying to run away.
Zev's out. Violet's gonna cover as well.
Oh, wow!
It's the escape of a lifetime. The magic trick works, and now the whole team is out of position as they're looking to crack open inhibitors.
That worked wonders here for Sev. And that is how you caught their attention here. What a great move here. Very seamless transition for Violet as well. And all of that, they just wasted a lot of time here against Twisted Minds.
So much because of that. And now we are here at the peak of Mount Everest. You better bring your oxygen tanks because not everybody can breathe this high up with that much gold in the bank. 11k lead so far, or a minimum of 10. We know what that means. The GG angle is here, and I think that Twisted Minds, I see Jinchao only getting the golden staff right now. We're currently at 23.9k. I'm going to assume that it's only 2 items complete as they engage with the cloud shift.
Okay, that's a very nice combination here for Violet and the rest of the gang. Leafy with an RWM to ensure things will be inside the box. Liv with a double kill as well. Members of Twisted falling hand by hand here. And that's going to be a 4 women down. Eventually a wipeout and a game 1 win for Team Falcons.
Beautifully done by the Falcons. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. First turtle, if we punish this Yuzong, we get it, and we can go even further. We're going to double down on the Yuzong, and once Yuzong's completely out of relevancy, we move down and slow down the Claude.
That is how you slowly choke out your opponents. Tilt the balance onto the side lanes where it matters the most, right? In terms of early farming up, compromising the whole rotation here for Twisted Minds. They were actually dependent on what Daisy could do, actually for Cow as well. But without those two, definitely an easy kill here for Falcons.
Capitalism wins again. That 10k gold lead is just too much. But we're going to be throwing it back to the studio to break this down for you guys. We got another matchup here, and hopefully that match point isn't enough to break their confidence. Back to you, Reflections.
Is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
Well, if you blinked, you missed it. What a dominating map number 1 for Team Falcons Indonesia. Twisted Minds, wake up. You're not dreaming. This is real, and your tournament life is on the line. You want to make it to the knockout stage, you need to fight hard. Coming the next 2 maps. My goodness, let's talk about it and break it down, because Team Falcons Indonesia doing everything, it seems, and Maylane was getting punished.
Yeah, I gotta say, looking at that game, they understood that, all right, Maylane this time is on a damage dealer. We got to get to her as fast as possible. And that was off of Violet, man. Violet on that Sora just keeps on, number 1, winning her lane, and then dominating like the jungle of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, and the fact that we were, of course, expecting a bit more of the proactive gameplay, since they were on mostly aggressive setter types as the fronts. It's an Atlas, it's a Yu Zhong, but the matchup in the XP lane didn't go their way, and the mid duo too. I think it all fell down for them when they really lost out hard on that EXP lane matchup.
Well, we got a play to look at. Let's take a look at one of the great moments from match number 1, and it's most likely going to be the very end, and it is in fact LaFell, as obviously this is where Team Falcons Indonesia start to close the vice grip and eliminate map number 1 for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, looking at that play itself already shows what happened the entire game. Violet, you go in, you pull them towards us, and then we will win based off of range, because as we're looking at the draft later on, having Valentina is great, but she doesn't have the same range as the Eve. So every single time they're fighting, Falcons will hit first, and then Twisted Mind is just trying to get close enough to deal damage, but you don't get close enough.
Yeah, on paper, the Valentina stealing away the Sora's ult should do a lot for the team, but at the same time, you're not really able to use it to an advantage. You see multiple instances wherein they're just using it defensively rather than them actually being aggressive enough with the Valentina gameplay, and they could not reach the targets. They could really not find a way around this lineup from Team Falcons ID.
Was I seeing that? Was it 16-1 in overall kills?
Yeah.
That's nuts to me. I mean, like, you think about it, that just wasn't, where was Twisted Minds? Seriously, what did they need to do coming in to map number 2? Because I think we talked about the hero selection, and it almost seemed like that they were trying to force a little bit too much. Well, hey, we'll talk about that in just a second. I mentioned, though, the implications. You got Twisted Minds, you've got Team Falcons. Both are playing for the club championships. Trev, how's things shaking up?
Yesterday in MWI, 4 keys got crushed, but the rest of the competition remains poised to try and take the club championship trophy. Team Vitality, the frontrunners in this competition, are still looking likely to take the 1,000 points and the title of MWI champion home. They faced off yesterday against Gen.G, which was a rematch of the grand finals of 2025, and swept them clean down to the lower bracket. Today, Gen.G will face off against NAVI, who have been looking incredible in the club championship after a big win in Fatal Fury last week. Virtus.pro still hanging on to their last life, and the same can be said for the 2 Falcons team. After heavy investment, it doesn't seem to be playing out the way that they wanted. Stay tuned for more in the club championship.
There. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind. And we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC. Powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. Making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
Well, Trev mentioned it. For some of these orgs, it's a heavy investment into the games that their competitors are playing. This is no different, right? Twisted Minds, Team Falcons, both tried to gain the club championship points. And for Twisted Minds, again, they currently sit at 0. Twisted Minds need to stay alive here for the hopes of a Twisted Minds club championship race moving forward. It's only week 2, it's early, but you fall too far behind, you'll just simply never catch up. Now, going back to the hero discussion, you mentioned something that I found quite interesting. For some of the hero picks, you mentioned it was an expression of skill.
Yes, honestly, coming in from both teams, this is one of those high-risk, high-rewards kind of draft where if you die 2 times, that's it. That's the end of the game, because this is a very punishing meta now that the jungle gives more gold. Because what happened in that game was Falcons ID won so much that Twisted Minds could not farm up so that they didn't have the item. So it was like trying to chop down a tree with nail clippers. You will never have enough damage to do anything against Falcons ID.
That will take some time if you do it with nail clippers. But that's, I think, also on top of the fact that we felt a bit more of an adjustment from Twisted Minds, because we're more used to seeing them play the utility type of approach. But I think Falcons ID just did their homework so well too. The Mathilda ban hurt them so much in a sense that it kind of made them hesitant to just prioritize their utility jungler overall. And at the same time, them picking it for last, resorting to an assassin, and having to also pay attention to Chin Chao, I think they had to do some certain significant adjustments from their end.
And I got a key talking point I want to bring up to both of you out there. But for all of you at home and also in the venue as well, check it out. My Champion Pick. It's here. 2 champions, 1 game. My Champions Pick event is now live. From July 27th, submit your predictions for the MSC and MWI champions for a chance to win 50,000 in-game diamonds and MSC 2021 and 2025 tournament skins. Don't forget to leave your picks under at MLBB Esports for even more chances to win. Lock in your champions now and cheer for your favorite teams. My Champion Pick now live. Get involved. It's some good stuff coming your way. Now, again, going back to the hero selection, again, it was a bit drastic. I mentioned the coach, though, for Twisted Minds, knowing the Indonesian playstyle, coming from Indonesian himself, of course, players also represented on both sides. Do you think he tried to get a little bit too tricky, thinking like, okay, I know the mindset of the Indonesian team on the opposite side for Falcons Indonesia, but maybe he just did a little bit too much?
Indonesia as a region, they're a very fight-heavy region where it really is very, very short games just because you win the first 3 minutes. After those 3 minutes, it's very hard for you to make a comeback. So I think that's why both coaches tried to draft a little bit more risky and kind of hope for the best. I want to see them pull that back just a little bit and try to help out Chin Chao just a little bit more. I feel like she can get more help. She could eventually get them the W.
A bit more for Twisted Minds, I feel, because again, we mentioned how risky these lineups already were, and the fact that they are both very team fight heavy lineups. They do really like to brawl. The moment that they lost out big on that early game, on that EXP lane specifically, then it was very difficult for them to scale back into a position where they could just really constantly fight back.
How do you deal with Violet? Because she was disgusting out there. Absolutely nasty. Violet, even within the first 4 or 5 minutes, up to 5 total kills. She's clearly a problem.
I feel like they're going to change just a little bit on the strategy, because what happened in that game was that the mid duo tried to make sure that the mid duo of Falcons ID does not move. I think this time they're like, you know what? Let's help out the EXP lane. How about 3 people go there? How about 4 people go there? If they can shut down Violet early, maybe the game would have looked different.
Yeah, maybe give the more Sa type of heroes that would just really catch them off guard.
Have more range at least.
Have more range, movement around the map, because with the Valentina, range given, it's not so good as the other mid lane picks out there, but I think also movement really restricted, because she really wasn't able to get the advantage in the mid lane up against the counterpart, up against the Eve.
My biggest concern, though, for Twisted Minds, they lost that so quickly. Now they're immediately going into map number 2. The regain is going to be so hard.
This is something that I have to talk about, because in Stream B, even after losses, Chin Chao was smiling, having fun, same as Maylin. And this shows their veterancy, right? They've been here since 2021. They've suffered losses before. They know how to recover. And looks like part of that recovery is banning out that Sora. So quite unorthodox. We haven't seen a Sora ban for quite a while. Speaking of, Twisted Mind is going to be the first pick, and then Falcons ID on the second one. They're playing Flying Clouds for this one. Sora as well as Atlas banned out.
But you know, Sora was also used by Daisy on Twisted Minds, and she had a phenomenal job with it. So wouldn't you think maybe, even though banning it out is a bit risky, why not try to risk the fact that you might be able to get Sora yourself?
I doubt that they'd prioritize it for first pick though, so there will be a greater chance that Team Falcons ID will get their hands on it all over again if they don't take it out here, because they prioritize it the same, even knowing that the Valentina's open in game number 1.
The other possible answer might be this time, maybe Daisy has to go for a tank, like a proper tank, so that you can actually have an assassin in the jungle. Because again, the EXP needed farm, right? The mid needed farm,
Yeah.
jungle needed farm, gold needed farm. So losing 1,000 gold kind of feels like losing 10,000 gold.
And because they went with an Atlas, which is a
Yeah.
setter type, which is more like a bruiser rather than someone who could, less of a bruiser rather than
Yeah.
someone who could just keep standing in front of your way.
He doesn't slow down their rotation.
No,
if he tries, he'll die.
Yeah, so that's why I think there has to be some adjustments, because the EXP and the Roamer definitely are the anchors of the team if they just really want to spread out the gold that way.
And by the way, you mentioned over on Stream B, they were smiling after a loss. I just saw a smile there. So Twisted Minds is coming back into this. They're feeling good. They are not fazed by that early loss.
Because I feel like they understood why they lost, right? Like, that's part of the reason why they're still okay. It's like, it's something you can solve. It's not something that they're too strong. It was just our mistake.
Yeah, so now the Marcel gets open.
Oh,
though.
Marcel, okay.
This is gonna change things quite a bit because we barely see it open here in Stream A. But the fact that Falcons ID have already secured the carry yet again, I feel like this is gonna be a staple in their lineup up against Twisted Minds. And now you might want to think twice about what the option in the jungle is going to be again.
Brigitte, I really feel like carry is going to be a big priority in MWI, maybe even MSC, because carry counters so many meta picks right now in the EXP as well in the jungle, where before this, we hope for Gord to be that tank killer. Now the job goes back to carry, which, you know, is why she was designed the way she was designed.
Yep. Oh, the Paquito gets picked up. So Twisted Minds are still going for a...
This is going to be Esme.
Okay, this is
going to be Esmeralda fighting against Paquito, wins the lane, as well as the counter is not there anymore. I don't see why not pick up an Esmeralda here.
Yeah, at least for Twisted Minds though, they revert to something that's more common to them. It's the utility lineup and a damage EXP. So maybe just maybe Daisy gets a bit more comfortable here. But again, the presence and possibility of a direct counter to her lane. That's what we have to watch out for here in Red 3. Does Falcons ID do finally pick it up? Or do they just really want to play confident and show us something else?
Yeah, I feel like the correct answer is going to be Esmeralda, but hey, like you said, maybe they want to go for a very different direction, because maybe they want to pick up the jungler now before it gets banned out. So yes, they do pick up the Esmeralda. So now let's talk about what Twisted Minds really need. They have burst, they have crowd control, now they need consistent amount of damage. Something that Chin Chao used before was the 1-1, but I do not think that will be a very good pick here.
Yeah, I think on paper you would want to go for the Claude, since you already have to answer the Eve, not directly winning against the carry, but that's pretty much a given considering the way the meta works right now. And you need a bit more of shred and DPS, as you mentioned, because you have an Esmeralda on the other side.
Yeah, and now look at this. They're batting out the shred. They're batting out the gourd. So this Esmeralda will eventually become a very big problem, because even though the Claude builds Demon Hunter Sword, it's going to take some time for you to take out the shields of Esmeralda, especially because you have a Paquito, you have an Akai. They're going to give shields over to this. In fact, even a Marcel, right? Every member of Twisted Mind has a shield that Esmeralda can absorb. So the likes of a Claude might not have enough damage to even break the shield.
How deep can Sa's hero pool go to? Because we've seen like attempts to even use a Lunox to answer against these kinds of tanky heroes, but does she have it in her pool, and will she be comfortable enough to play it? Arguably so though. I think she will have enough space. She's paired up with a Marcel. They also have the Akai on their side. She will have the Brilliance to temporarily keep herself safe. But range might be another issue for Twisted Minds if they do decide to go for the Lunox route.
I've seen a Lunox in Group B, but that's from Foot Esports playing it in the gold lane. Sorry, not Foot. MIB are lost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so now, are they going to fully commit on banning out catch heroes like the Cho as well?
Oh.
The Kimi gets banned. I was thinking of the Kimi as well. Not an amazing pick against the Eve, but if you commit to maybe second item Sky Piercer after 3 stacks, you should have enough damage to deal with the Esmeralda.
But I wonder if the Kaja was banned out here, because we're already assuming it's an Akai jungle.
Part of the strength of Kaja. Remember how game number 1, Falcons completely control the jungle?
Yeah.
Kaja is amazing at that. You know, the passive as well as the basic attack can steal many camps away.
Oh, yeah.
And again, there's a carry. Cho is a good partner with carry, same as Kalia, same as Kaja. Anyone that can catch, carry's happy with them.
That's true. That's why they probably took a bunch of the pick-off-centric roamers out. They don't reveal to us the roamer just yet, though. They go ahead with the Harley. That's a lot of magic damage we're starting to see from Falcon's ID.
I feel like Harry will have enough burst, actually, and ironically enough, to deal with Esme, but again, it's so risky. But that's the problem right now. Every single pick for Twisted Mind is pretty risky, so they still go with the Claude. They're going to try to roll with this again. The mid is going to be the most important one. You need some kind of burst so that your early game is not as difficult compared to game number 1, because again, this is tournament life.
Yeah.
Lose here, you're gonna go home.
Someone who's not as easily caught, someone who can probably also kite, because you're expected to run around a lot of times. It's a Harley, it's an Esmeralda in your face, apart from the fact that you have to deal with the range from the Eve. So Sa is really taking her time thinking about this, but she will default back into her Kagura.
Because I asked her in an interview, your Kagura was amazing. Do you feel anyone else will use the Kagura? And she's like, maybe, but I'm the best. I'm the best Kagura. So I feel like this is do or die. This is her telling her coach, I don't care if it's not good on paper, I want to use my best hero.
Yeah, and maybe just be very specific with your targets too, because the Kagura, once it's actually armed up, can deal decent amounts of damage, especially to the likes of the Harley and the carry altogether. So maybe they will just really try to focus fire majority of their burst damage onto one. We also don't know what the Paquito is actually going to try to build from this point onwards. So that can be another layer to the burst damage that we're expecting from Twisted Minds. But Falcon's ID, the roamer, is it a Cho?
I feel like a glue will be fine here. They don't have the damage profile to take down a glue. But looks like they're going to go for the Hilda. So the Hilda is just to match the Marcel. We're going to have a woman-on-woman defense, making sure that the Marcel is always marked. I got to say, Brigitte, looking at Twisted Mind, they're drafting like their life depended on it. And now Falcon's ID, they're trying their best to counter every single pick of Twisted Minds.
But will it pay off? That's the question. For Team Falcons Indonesia, they struck hard in map number 1, and Twisted Minds are forced to come back to protect their heart in the tournament. The key, will it get crushed after this map, or will we go the distance to a map number 3? It's up to them to decide. Athena, Gideon, let's get it started.
Thanks so much, Reflections. Also, big ups to both Lafell as well. We're breaking it down perfectly. So far, this game is really going to boil down to how those first couple of minutes is going to go. Because, man, Team Falcons with a draft like that, trying to cover every single position is kind of wild.
It looked like a chess match, actually. Answering each and every move that we've seen Twisted Mind try and take. Actually, for the Kagura, I'm a bit concerned. Although it's all about the mechanics and the pilot, right?
That's true.
It's all about who uses the perfect timing as well here for Twisted. Immediate interception here for Twisted Minds, and a punish onto Seb. First blood here for Count Daisy. Violet might fall as well. It's Daisy right up front
They're so
with
smart.
an early double kill.
They're so smart! They're so smart! This is the first time we're finally seeing the counter jungle actually happen. You're predicting your opponents, giving them no information, walk up to try and invade, and instantly body slammed into them. And you've got a Paquito who's strong at level 1 to make that happen. That was great. And now Litho for free.
Great minds do think alike, and now it's Cal on to Levy and Ramundo. Now we see some action. Now we see the countermeasure that Twisted Minds change from game 1, now reflecting heavily onto game 2.
So good. So very, very good. This is the best start possible that we can see from Twisted Minds' side. However, it's not over just yet. Just because First Blood was given over doesn't necessarily mean that the entire game is over. It's just going to be a little tough for Zev to come back into it, and I think Violet, unfortunately, just does not have the base stats to contest with Paquito until first items are purchased.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the analyses earlier onto giving Daisy a hero that could actually withstand and do some action. And now it's up to main lane to actually try and bear some of the responsibility to setting up bigger and better team fights here for Minds. And now onto the top lane is going to be Chin Chow yet again being targeted. There's Seva onto the side lane. It's very nice BMI out here just to disengage.
Yeah, they didn't see the BMI, unfortunately. They could have waited just a little bit longer just in case it times out and see whether the mistake was going to be made. But with the Deadly Magic already gone and information on where Zeb is, this should be a pretty free turtle as Raymundo opens opens up the map to see Kao.
Okay, Violet is there as well. They're still waiting for that big square, that big RWM that TV might do, but instead they just focus on trying to level things up here for Twisted, not giving them any more kills than necessary.
Oh man, the turtle already slain and Zev in position to try to make another attack and another attempt on that top side. Mid gets attacked instead as Twisted Minds are sending the reinforcements.
Okay, now they react. It's Xin Chao yet again being left defenseless. Even the Deadly Magic committed. BMI just enough of a shield to get back and survive. And now it's Kao living some of those frame moments with a shocking shot, but all is still good. No kills yet, just yet here for Team Falcons.
Yep, and now they're going to take their time as Twisted Minds know that they have enough of a lead to start stealing away some spare change from Falcons. In this case, one of the small camps, Zev just has to watch.
Okay, it's all about maintaining their tempo as well. Main lane committing the heavy spin. Raimundo will be bowling down. What a smooth transition for game 2 here for Twisted.
Yep, Raimundo a little should be careful here because at this point, Twisted Minds, they don't mind just ripping the ult. They don't mind just finding even more picks. They already have the lead. They're not going to play from behind. They're showing that they have enough dominance to play ahead. Can Zev steal this away in time? Zev does not have retribution just yet.
Okay, she's just rushing through everything. And it looks like it's still melee lane here.
Possible punish?
Okay, onto the top lane. They go for the counter punish. Raimundo onto the back, targeting Kao. It's it again, going in with the golden orb, but no one is caught here onto the side of Team Falcons. But yet again, what a great answer. Trying to push back a little against Twisted.
A slight adaptation. Oh, the deck overturn connects, and now the Blazing Duet in the back line!
Xin Chao does a great job to go make a damage, but still isn't enough to actually turn it into a kill. Now, across the map, there was also an attempt here for Team Falcons, but unfortunately, though, it doesn't succeed. It doesn't still equate onto any kills. 4 minutes into the game, and they still haven't found the right rhythm yet. Maybe here under the turtle, they will.
It's all about adaptation. Now Violet trying to maintain as much pressure as possible to create that space. Sa needs to clear that midway before they get it, and now the fight starts to begin!
Oh, now it's Raimundo forcing out Daisy. Missed position here for Twisted Minds. Still, it's Sa follow up closely with the Thrasho and Sammy umbrellas being thrown all over the bush. Neutral objective still up. They might not reset this one as Twisted continues their dominance here onto the top lane. Raimundo and the rest of Team Falcons will disengage and not contest the turtle anymore. Sa, and again with Yin yung overturn, Liv trying to run away. Golden Aura as well, looking for the side steps just to try and survive. And she will not, even with the flying clouds, still isn't enough time to actually help her.
Very nicely played. So far, Twisted Minds are coming out of this with 0 deaths. The kill score is 4-0. Falcons have yet to find something against them. However, the lead isn't running away just yet.
Yep.
Despite what happened in the early game, Zev is still trying to make plays across the map. Now getting caught. Is this going to be a death?
Okay, it's going to be the magic trick here. Trying to run away, but it looks like there is no way out but to go down here for Zev.
I mean, they made the attempt, right? Try to clear up the wave really, really fast so that Violet has a little bit of time to kind of maintain control, or could have gone to roam had that wave been completely destroyed. But at this point, Zev is getting targeted hard by Twisted Minds. They are not letting this transition into
all about delaying things up here for Team Falcons. Now they're trying to find a way to somehow let Liv farm up as much as he can. But for Twisted just did a really great job until finally getting an answer back for Daisy here, especially for that Paquito wonderful whip.
And so far, it's been doing wonders. Oh, another Yin Yang reaction with a Sky Piercer on top of it. Sa finds the pick of a lifetime, and Zev continues to get punished.
That is just messy here for Team Falcons. trying to fight lanes to stay and farm up as much as he can.
The worst possible outcomes have already come true. Jin Xiao just needs to scale because Sa and Daisy are strong enough to take out Zev and Liv if they are exposed to the enemy. Now, Twisted Minds going to take their time with this. I think they want to extend this lead even further. They didn't bother invading the orange buff, but they just want the turtle first. It seems like they're not going to overextend. They're playing it by the book. Very textbook plays.
Okay, it's all about maintaining composure here also for Twisted Minds. And we do like that they don't do this flashy, unnecessary movements across the map unless it's really necessary. All about clearing up the lanes, not letting any lane turret being destroyed here for Team Falcons. And Daisy, she is confident enough that she could hold over on the two members, even forcing out some of the poker tricks here for Seva. And for Twisted Minds, if ever they committed, they were ready for any rumble. They were ready for battle immediately.
It's a gradual climb at this point. 4.5 is starting to come into dangerous territory for the Falcons. They have yet to find anything. Not a single kill on this game. Not a single turret on the map. Yet they understand one thing. We can scale. We just need to hit our item power spikes. How do we stop the bleeding as they now try to intercept this dive?
Okay, now they put some pressure onto Ramundo. Heavy spin will miss out most of the heroes here for Team Falcons. But now Livy is trying to find a way to alleviate some of those pressure. But it's going to be at cost of her own life. Jin Xiao and the rest of the members of Twisted Minds still got a better trade onto that one.
And now they continue. They try to press the advantage here. Falcons tried. They finally get a kill back. Unfortunately for Livy, it did cost her absolutely everything. Last tier 1 turret here on the bottom side finally destroyed. Mid needs to be cracked wide open before Twisted Minds can accelerate this game any further. They're just limited by the structures that Falcon continue.
The hero she's most comfortable with, right? She's doing a great job onto checking each and every bush, preventing what happened onto game number 1 with Sev, just targeting all over again onto their core damage dealers. Vision is everything here for Twisted Minds.
It is, and right now Daisy holding a very powerful position, but Violet's going to expose it first. I see a Genius Wand being purchased. Pretty greedy here, considering everything that's already happened in the early stages of the game. And I would have imagined, at least with the composition that they have, shredding that MR is vital for Violet and Livy. At this point of time, there should be an attack from the Falcons, but it seems like they don't have enough manpower or the resources. They will find one in Kao as the Lord goes into the hands of Twisted Minds.
It's all about the baby steps here for Team Falcons. Taking those small steps might matter later on as long as they don't get full-on annihilated here by Twisted Minds. And somehow, Sev is still doing a great job onto somehow balancing out the longer lanes here against Twisted Minds and preventing that macro falling onto the hands here for Jin Xiao and the rest of the gang. Lord will be marching onto the top lane. Twisted Minds trying to find another person to actually take down here. But for Falcons, it's all about clearing up, making it safer, and Sa being inflicted a lot of damage here, but still will survive.
Still survives, and now we see the Falcons again maintaining these waves really, really well. Twisted Minds really lost a lot of confidence once Kao ended up going down. They didn't have their dedicated man, person, woman to walk into these bushes and absorb that kind of deadly damage that we're expecting from the Falcon side. Actually, let's pull up the item list before. Zev should not die here. They'll be able to get out, even deadly magic being used. Maylin takes little to no damage. I'm assuming Maylin already has Radiant Armor as Jin Xiao backs up. Let's look at this, right? Yep, Radiant Armor, Chastised Pauldron already done for Maylin. On the opposite side, it seems that Zev even more. First item decided to go for concentrated energy just to survive the early game. And now with the Genius Wand, provides a little bit of utility for everybody else. Oh, Daisy played that well. Good composure.
Okay, it's all about maintaining the lead here for Twisted Minds. They're not letting any cracks here to be seen by Team Falcons. And now they slowly somehow negate some of the jungles, the macro as well. They're trying to somehow control it against Team Falcons. But for now, it's still Sev focusing onto the small things here onto the map, trying to and get a single person out of Twisted Minds. Ramundo for the follow-up. Immediate shutdown onto Daisy. They've got a plenty bounty right there here for Team Falcons. Now it's next on line. Flicker as well committed just to try and escape that one. But no, it's Livy with a shutdown kill. Heavy seen here for main lane. Trying to corner out Livy, and they will do so with Chincha with a double kill. It's 2 onto 3, and Sev will get those numbers as well. And Team Falcons kindly get a very beautiful play here. Chincha forced out onto her Flicker. Now we see some action happening here on the map.
Really, really tough for Chinchao especially because, again, you're coming to the point of the game where you already have your Trinity items. It's just maintaining the Art of Thievery stacks on top of the Golden Staff stacks. Daisy nearly one-shotting Zev, but the counterplay is just too much. Just like predicted by our studio, Violet on this Esme is a problem.
Just let her cook, right? And she ate well enough to actually absorb some of those, not some, most of the shields here from Twisted Minds. And now for Team Falcons, they were just waiting to pounce on their prey. And now finally we see the tables have been turned. Now they got the chance to take down an objective and then top up that a possible takedown yet again. Ramona onto Sa. They're forcing out Twisted out of their position. Xinjiao goes in with a blazing do it. Immediate shot out onto Sev. And they go in and take the Lord as well in the process. Liv and the rest of the gang tries to go in with a trade-off just enough to finally get an advantage. Shut down immediately on the Chinchao. They continue here on the Purple Wolf side. And it looks like with Twisted Mind, they got a Lord, but at the sacrifice of 2 members.
Yeah, not 100% sure how that was going to start playing out here. Fortunately, if Chinchao survived, I think there was definitely an opportunity for Twisted Minds to take this back. But look at the gold lead, despite getting the Lord, despite doing everything correctly, minimizing the damage, Falcons still walk away positive despite that.
That was a very smart move actually here for Team Falcons, just waiting. And then Raimundo focusing solely on Tusa, preventing the burst from ever happening. She was just so far. And even though Xinjiao was has managed to actually reach Sev and the rest, but one thing is for sure, the rest of the gang, they were willing to take the risk and they took it. That is a high roar play here for Team Falcons, and now it's Violet being targeted. Even if Rattery was committed on her, but they were not successful. That is huge info here for Team Falcons.
Just not, unfortunately, just needed a couple more attacks coming in from Chinchao, which is the main win condition so far for Twisted Minds. If you look at the items and already max builds are starting to come. One last item to complete the full set. A Winter Crown coming in from Chinchao. We're expecting Twisted Minds for the upcoming fight to try to get Falcons to gather together to get a maximized Blazing Duet, and hopefully that's going to be enough to bait out everything from the Falcons.
That's the thing. Now we have to solely focus onto when and where Chinchao could possibly come from, because she is the most crucial piece alongside with Saa, and Raimundo is just doing a great job onto spotting out those 2 critical members here for Twisted Minds. And looking at the Dabidat ranking, she is the key to all the fights that Twisted Minds could be able to win onto this clash.
They're really struggling. Again, only Chinchao can technically do relevant damage to this Esme, but now they're trying to defend themselves as the Conceal comes out. All this for a tier 2. You can see how the tables have shifted from a dominating early game from the side of Twisted Minds into the mid game, where Falcons use their experience to hold on to the economy and stop the bleeding. This is a really great showing of veterancy, not only by the Falcons, but creative adaptive plays from Twisted Minds, because now they've hit the second roadblock. The first one was preset from game number 1. Coming into this one, we need to see them do it on the fly without the help of their coach.
It's all about maintaining the pressure to stop the bleeding, right? And that is exactly what Falcons did. They didn't let it really roll over here onto Twisted Minds. Instead, they still continued onto their day jobs, which is to farm up Sev as much as they can, let Liv take most of the farms as well when it comes to the minion waves, and now they focus onto getting Daisy out of position. That was a really close call here for Sev. Now they come back. There's a positive position here for Team Falcons, and they could attempt another gank if ever, but Twisted Minds, they're just not letting things go walk by.
This is so good. Falcons know how to get the attention of Twisted. They show that Harley in the mid lane. Twisted continue to respond to it. They gotta play this slow, and now Raimundo might just be in some trouble.
Okay, she's getting a lot of attention here for Twisted Minds. Immortality being popped off. Kao eliminating Sev at the most crucial timing. Liv with real world manipulation is Xin Chao with a Winter Crown play here. Beautiful placing duet, but Liv is still alive and will be able to take down the burst damager here for Twisted Minds. Stacy, on the other hand, will get the trade off, but now it's main lane locking in closely here on the members of Team Falcons, and Violet is the only woman remaining, and Twisted Minds won onto the clash and will be able to secure a Lord.
One simple mistake. Liv just needed to buffer the flicker as soon as that heavy spin connected the very first time before she gets pinned against that wall. You gotta be a little fast on that one, and Liv right now needs to do so much work because for the rest of the team to peel for her, they have to put their bodies on the line. Liv tried to be the peeler with the RWM, and guess what? Xin Chao already one step ahead with the Winter Crown.
And now they're looking to somehow compromise some of the jungles here for Team Falcons. What you've mentioned, that was beautifully played out here also for Twisted Minds. Very smart targeting for Mei lane. And Kao directly assassinating Sev started everything, and it all fell onto the hands of Twisted Minds. Now the Lord will be marching onto the bottom side.
Now this is where it's going to get a little difficult here because Twisted Minds don't exactly have the greatest ways to zone their players off without having to commit really big ultimates. And in this case, it's that heavy spin, unless we see Daisy flicker, which isn't up for another 36 seconds.
Yep. But they're making it worth it, right? For Raimundo.
Oh my god.
She is just suffering, bro. She's just suffering onto what Xin Chao and Kao is doing. It's Daisy yet again finding Sev across the map, across the jungle, and now they're left to defend. It's all going to be 4 members here onto the top lane, and main lane and the Ross will be slowly disengaging. That was an immediate answer for Team Falcons, but that was a close call, by the way, for Sev.
Oh, can they save the turret?
No!
The inhibitor turret gets broken down. Even if it survives at 1 HP, at least it would have prevented the ever-constant flowing wave from Twisted Minds' side, and a long wave, the long lane of which Falcons must consistently deal with. Look, Lord is spawning 75 seconds away on the bottom side. It's so far away to deal with, and they really need Violet to open up that map because nobody else can do it, not even Raimundo anymore.
She isn't, right? She is not really enjoying her time right now because for Team Falcons, that's halfway across the map. And you wouldn't want to waste a time for Violet to just clear off the waves. You want her to be present when it comes to crucial team fights. Now, we see her purchasing the Winter Crown as well.
Wait, we're seeing a movement from Twisted Minds. It looks like they want to invade on the top side to maybe try and go for an intercept onto Violet.
Maybe.
But they've already spotted this out, right? Raimundo, great positioning here to give the information necessary. Falcons ready for the counterattack.
Okay, Raimundo still is baiting herself here. Just debating whether they should go for a kill, but Violet onto Daisy. This is what we're talking about. She is strong on the 1v1 scenario. But if there were multiple members, that is a different case. So Team Falcons needs to be really careful onto sending Violet alone across the map.
Falcons, again, that counterattack, had it happened at the 40-second mark of when the Lord was going to spawn, they probably would have their ults back up for when the Lord actually spawned to fight once more. But it's just too risky. It's 15-13 so far, and Twisted Minds, both sides are all at max build, with Twisted Minds with a little bit more economy to start item swapping in the middle of these fights. We'll see whether that's going to matter in just a little bit, because you can tell Falcons, they're the ones who have to press the charges. Twisted Minds, they can just wait. Look at that top wave. It's building up fast.
Yep, they have the luxury to take things slow when it comes to this lore take. And as we've mentioned, it's always going to be a -1 here for Team Falcons just because of that base turret being destroyed here for Twisted Minds. And now they commit. They saw that there are not a lot of members here for Team Falcons to try and contest this one out. It's Liv trying to fall back here with a free hit. And Violet with the Falling Storm will be able to hit Sa. But process is going to be taking too long here for Team Falcons, but immediately get in with the kill. What a way to get off the Lord and get another kill. Xin Chao with their multi-target off. And a double kill here for the carry. Falcons have done it. They were able to get a Lord, a kill as well, and now they slowly make their way through the map.
Genuinely beautifully played by Falcon's side. I thought maybe for sure that this was going to be a Lord for the side of Twisted Minds, but the target priority from Falcons in the middle of the scrum was just too much to deal with. And now, with the Immortalities, they're looking for the end game as Daisy. They're going to have to recall. Yeah, it looks like they've accepted what's about to happen. And look at Levy, so far behind with the RWM ready to punish.
Okay, they know it's going to be the jump here for Daisy. She's taking the risk. We were able to eliminate Raimundo, but the Lord is still full of HP. It's in Steve Falcon's focus fire onto the base and winning over this match onto a 2-0 sweep.
From deadpan silence to all smiles on the side of the Falcons. What a difficult battle this had to be for the Twisted Minds. They were the ones who were leading the charge. They were the ones who were setting the tempo, but it was Falcons' experience and most importantly, their patience that got them through these hurdles.
Definitely, now they rise as legends. Many had doubted them from the first day of MWI. Now they put their mark yet again as Indonesia's finest to stay here at MWI at EWC.
Ooh. What a game. If this is what we're expecting from our very first series, I don't know what's in store for later on today. The quality is already going up and we are seeing some high-level ideas being implemented here in MWI. Let's look at this replay one more time here at the end of this match when we were looking for that closing moments. Both Daisy and Sa desperately trying to not only clear this wave, but they needed to pull the Lord's attention. And unfortunately for the Falcons, they said, no, we will not let you aggro the Lord. We will not let you distract our minions. And they made sure, hey, we're not baiting this out. We're playing this good and honest.
They're playing it right to their strengths. And the redemption now continues for the side of Team Falcons Indonesia. What a start here for our deciding match of the day.
Let's throw it over to our interview up on stage.
From your former teammates?
Well, this is my first time to holding the key, so I'm so excited. But then I feel bad for my teammate also because Ika is from Indonesia also, but she tried her best already.
Yes, Chinchao, you did your best. Thank you so much for your valiant effort. Your journey ends here. Thank you. And of course, anything you would like to say to all of the Indonesian fans who are supporting you back home?
I know for the first day, it's a little bit bad for us, for our perform, but I think from yesterday until today, we bounced back, and then I think maybe we can rematch with Vitality.
Yes, and with this win, congratulations, you have made it to the knockout stage and extending your tournament life. Falcons Indonesia.
It is time for that very important moment. We have a tradition here at the Esports World Cup. This is the key crushing. Congratulations again to Team Falcons Indonesia, punching that ticket into the knockout phase. We got to make sure we careful here. Stuff get real serious. Making sure that our key master lets you know exactly how it's done. Okay. We've seen the respect on stage, but at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there can only be one when it comes to competition. Nothing gets given, everything gets earned. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir. Oh my. You see the reaction there. Congratulations again. Ladies and gentlemen, they are officially qualified for our knockout stages. Let's go ahead and take a look at the match highlights.
ドキしようよ準備快適早まだまだないこの世界を楽しんでみたんだ
Well, the first key on day 3 has been crushed, and let me tell you, that key put up a fight. It was loud indeed, but at the end of the day, it's the reality of EWC. Twisted Minds, unfortunately, will not be progressing to the knockout stage, but for Team Falcons Indonesia, a clean sweep of 2-0 puts them in an excellent spot. During the match, though, Rose had a chance to catch up with some interesting people out in our audience.
We're having fun here in Paris, but I do have a few questions because it is an interesting match right now. We know that Falcons ID is going up against Twisted Mind. Now, I'm pretty sure Funi is split because if you guys remember, Funi used to play in Falcons ID, but her sister is in Twisted Mind. So how are we feeling about this matchup?
Actually, right now, I'm very nervous. I'm trembling non-stop. Oh my god, I almost cried. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel you're nervous. Yeah, but yeah, Funi, does this match makes you feel sentimental?
Yeah, I mean, on one side, it's my sister, and on the other side, it's my ex-teammates. So, of course, I feel a bit sad. Yeah, either Twisted or Team Falcons lose, I will end up crying. Pretty sure.
Oh no, please don't cry. Please don't cry, girl. Now, of course, we also want to ask Sabila. Now, Sabila, as the Indonesian reporter here on ground, I want to ask you, how do you think or what do you think is happening with the Indonesian representatives here in MWI?
Okay, it's a hard question because you know what? As we see from the Falcon ID, their play on their first match is not that good. They lose 0-2 from Seita, but now we can see their step up from yesterday until today. I'm sorry, Funi, because as we know in the first game, we saw Falcon ID playing so good, playing so well, but on the second game, we don't know. But Falcon ID, you have to reset. You have to do your best because this is your last chance to go at a knockout stage.
You know what? I feel the Indo pride really strong right here. Sabila, I know you have a question for Funi, right?
Yes, Funi. Is there anything you want to say to Chinchao, your sister?
Good luck. I love you. Whatever happens, either you're winning or you're losing, you're still the best gold winner for me.
Oh, she's tearing up. Oh my God, so sentimental. Thank you so much, girl. Sabila, anything for the Indonesian viewers?
Of course. Can I say in Bahasa, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Teman-teman semua, satukan dukungan kalian untuk tim ataupun player Indonesia yang sedang berjuang di MWI at EWC 2026.
Thank you very much, girls. That's it from us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
Thank you, Rose and Sevilla, for catching up with some of the players out there in the audience. Funi, what a tough spot to be in. The tears were flowing. My heart breaks. The story that she has being out in the audience, having to watch those two teams. What's the story behind that?
It's so tough to be in her spot because, again, as previously mentioned by her, on one side, it's her sister who's fighting. That's why you see her tearing up just a little bit when she had to give her final message. But on the other side, she had former teammates. So she's very much familiar with the competitive scene. She's been playing in Indonesia for a while now. She knows for a fact how competitive it can be and how much of an achievement it is to be here in MWI at EWC. So I can only only imagine how she feels for her sister, because she's already made it to this point where you only need to win one series to make it to knockouts, but you have to witness her lose it out in such an unfortunate manner after dominating the game for so long.
That's why we framed it family versus the enemy. It's tough. It is for some of these matchups. I mean, it goes deep, especially with the history between certain rosters and teams, and maybe even some people on our desk with some upcoming matchups. Let's talk about some actions throughout, though. Game number 2. Man, it was tough to watch. It really was, because Twisted Minds, at least at the start, were at the 4-minute mark, LaFell, and I felt like Twisted Minds were off to an excellent start.
It was perfect. And honestly, Taylor, that's why it hurts. Imagine playing perfectly for 19 minutes. And then the moment that counts, the final action when Sa, as the Kagura, she missed her ult. She could not kill the opponent's carry. That's at the point of the game, you're like, I made a mistake. We cut our losses. Let's live to fight another day.
Yeah.
But the mistake was they committed. They're like, no, we have to win now. They all died. And that was the end of the game. That's how crucial one mistake is at 20 minutes.
Absolutely brutal. We take a look at our second moment, and I believe we get deeper into game number 2. And this is where things might start shaping up for Falcons Indonesia at the 12-minute mark. Now, Bree, from this point in time, it's still relatively even. I believe Twisted Mind still has maybe a little bit of a lead, but you can tell Falcons Indonesia are creeping up.
Yep, this is a moment where Chintrao was actually still able to find the way around the objectives, but it was where also Falcons ID were gradually being more confident in just trying to fight back against these objectives as well. And that's when I think they've also acknowledged themselves that we're a scaling lineup. And for the longest time, indeed, Twisted Minds have dominated it because they've done it through sheer burst damage. But it also can arrive to a point where they too can rely on their sustain. They also can rely on their raw damage in order to fight back. And that's where I think we got to see them on a much more equal footing, where decisions really made a huge difference in the latter portions of the game.
And LaFell, we take a look at our third moment of the game. We get deeper in, and I think this is when you really start to notice and showcase Falcons Indonesia could pull this off.
And this is where the mistakes really start to show. If there were 5 women there, they could have protected their base. They could have extended this and then maybe end in the next fight. But the fact that they committed earlier on, at that point, once they die, I think every player from Twisted Mind, they knew it was over.
But even one mistake, right, which can catapult and snowball into ultimately a loss. During the hero selection, though, we did notice that Falcons quite literally picked just to counter the Twisted Mind setup. Do you think that late game setup with their picks ended up playing more of a role than we thought?
Oh yes, 100%. And especially because Falcon slowed the game down. Because Twisted Mind, they had a good advantage to just end the game early, but Falcon denied that. Eventually, Falcons got the items needed to finally fight back against Twisted Mind. So yes, Twisted Mind made a mistake, but we gotta give credit where credit is due. Falcons slowed it down so much, they came back.
They did not be as reactive to what Twisted Minds were already doing across the map, and that's despite the Paquito leading up or actually having such a great time, even despite the matchup against an Esmeralda. That's why it also feels so frustrating for Daisy, because I believe it was an unfavorable setup for her.
She had a perfect game.
It was a perfect game for her nonetheless.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, it is heartbreaking for Twisted Minds, but that's how these tournaments go. Again, like I always love to say, making it to this stage is a massive accomplishment in its own right. Shout out to Twisted Minds for being one of the best teams out there when it comes to the MWI. Now, the question is, how do you be cool? I actually don't know, and Damascus, from what I'm hearing, you're gonna teach me? What do you got?
Au revoir, gentlemen. I heard that today you guys have been a banger, so I'm gonna teach you how to be cool in MLBB. So make sure you guys get this correct. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? How you feeling?
I'm feeling phenomenal.
I don't care how you're feeling. All right. This is the first question. Vengeance. What's a vengeance?
A vengeance? Revenge?
No, it's when you get killed at the beginning and then you just kill them back.
No.
Bro, what are you talking about?
No, it's a skill. It's a skill. You know.
Oh, like a flicker. Exactly. Like it's flicker.
Stop. He pretends he knows words. He does not. You don't know what a flicker is.
Bro, I know MLB. Bro, what are you talking about?
I'm gonna forgive you. I'm gonna forgive you this. Okay, what's an inspire? It's easy. What's an inspire?
An inspire?
Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
You're not wrong.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a character's trait. Like there are tanks and there are inspired characters. They inspire the others.
You know what? You're the
They
kind of
give
people
boss.
that make my mom cry. All
Oh
right?
my-
This is not being
I'm sorry,
cool.
Mom.
Okay, you know what? Last one. You guys have to get this because you guys have been hosts, right?
Yeah.
After a passionate game, you see the players standing up and then shouting to the opponents. What do they say?
Bang, bang.
No.
Why are you laughing? Bro, it's Mobile Legends bang, bang, bro.
No, they shout. I love. You know what? I'm done. You guys are hopeless. You know, I hope someone else can do this because I'm out.
Bro, we
see you
wanna
guys.
See me on the gold lane, bro.
See us in the gold lane, brother.
Yeah.
We gonna remember this when it's time for vengeance and we inspire on the gold lane.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
LaFell, I'm not going to lie. At one point, I got pretty scared. I thought you were going to take them both down.
Dude, they were hopeless, man. I tried my best. Hearts out to them. You know what? Briggs, maybe you have more patience. Maybe you could have made them more cool.
I don't know how else to explain vengeance and inspire, though. Like, I think you're the best teacher to do that.
Well, you tried.
I tried. But honestly, they're very, very cool guys. You know, hopefully we get to hang out, but just not play MLBB.
Give them a second chance, if you will. I have faith in them. I think they can learn how to be cool. Hey, Muton's got a special message. Let's listen in.
In the past, we were always in Asia. This year, we came to Paris. What stories are still left untold?
Kami sudah membuktikannya. Tapi ini baru permulaan.
Tiada siapa akan ingat siapa nombor 2. We need the win.
Bukan sekadar keinginan, tapi tekad.
Hindi ang pag-abot sa top ang pinakamahirap. Ang corona ang mahirap ipagtanggol.
What happened last year became fuel for us this year.
This time, we bring it to Paris and finish it.
A new lineup, new chemistry, new fire. Once champions, not settling for podium finishes. World champions, defending MSC champions. As the final boss of MLBB, can anyone stop them? Names have been named, stars have risen, but now they need to show the world what it takes to rise above. This time, the world is bigger than ever. Like every year, new challengers step on to the world stage. Some carry the ambitions of 2 continents. Some fight for the pride of home turf. Some have never stopped chasing the throne. So who will finally rise to clinch the title? This is where unresolved stories find their ending. A new shot at glory. One more chance at redemption.
We are back. Kali ini, sekali lagi.
Bukan atau tidak,
Pareho lang ang tsansa namin.
no one is untouchable.
Let's fight.
Bukan ako kalau bisa.
2 champions, 1 game. Paris breaks through limitless possibilities.
I don't know about you, but I'm pumped up not only for MWI, but MSC as well, taking place here in Paris, France at the Esports World Cup. LaFell, it's MLBB for like 3 of the 7 weeks.
Oh, dude, I love MLBB. That's why I've been here for like 9 years now. I didn't know until someone asked me. I was like, I've been here for 9 years, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't even realize. I didn't even realize that it's been here for 10 years
10
already.
years.
Because just yesterday we celebrated their 10th anniversary.
Yeah, she just hit 30.
Hey.
Oh, whoa.
I am far from.
By the way, she's like literally like 22. Okay, now me, I'm 34. I'm the old man on the
I'll take
desk. LaFell, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 32.
32?
Yeah.
I'm the elder here. I'm the elder, baby. Hey, Seda Esports over on the B stream ended up taking a big win. They stay alive. They move forward. They win 2-0 over their opponents. Now, this is a big deal, right? Because Seda Esports, man, coming into it, we kind of questioned, would they be able to redevelop the meta? They're representing a region that has been underrepresented. In this case, though, they managed to take down VP in a dominant way. We'll keep you updated with All Stream B. One more matchup to go there, but we need to head to the stage with Cheryl and Rob.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a true clash of titans. On one side, you have Team Gen.G, who is last year's second place finisher at MWI. On the other, you have Team NAVI, which of course was the champions in 2024 for MWI. Two amazing teams, two titans, but at the end, only one is going to qualify to the knockout stage.
That's right. Now Gen.G is hungry for that do-over opportunity, so they are going to do everything they can to secure this win. Whereas NAVI PH is on their journey to redemption. But who stands in their way? Gen.G, the very team that sent them home last year. Two powerhouses that is seen here on stage, but only one ticket to the knockouts. Let's do it.
Thank you, Cheryl in Hollywood. Rob TV, let's get it going. It's Gen.G versus NAVI, our second elimination match to move into the knockout stage. And this is a big one. It's a blockbuster matchup. You've got the 2025 EWC MWI runner-up of Gen.G taking on the 2024 EWC MWI champions of NAVI. This one means a lot, not only for the club championship race, but also for the history they both hold when it comes to the MWI.
Yep, I cannot believe we might just see a replication of last year take place here in another elimination series, simply because they meet yet again in the lower bracket where life is at stake. What if it just so happens to repeat? Because yesterday we saw that Vitality swept Gen.G all over again, similar to last year's grand finals. And now could they be the ones to send back Vitality or NAVI home again?
That's right, and you're obviously alluding to last year in the knockout stages. NAVI ends up losing to then Gaming Gladiators, but now Gen.G. This is a matchup of epic proportions. And for Gen.G, they might not want revenge on NAVI. They don't need it. They've already beat them before. However, they want revenge on Vitality. They want the championship. They fell just short last year. They want the main stage. But did they show enough yesterday to prove that they could beat this NAVI roster?
I gotta say, I'm pretty nervous for this one. I'm guessing Brigitte as well. You know, it's her home country, and for me, my sister's playing on Gen.G, so hopefully they do very well. I feel like Gen.G, they have this pride, they have this ego where they're really like, I don't care who you are, I just want to be the best. And the fact that they lost against Vitality might be dangerous for NAVI, because NAVI is the one that has to go through their wrath.
Yeah, and I think even in interviews, it reflects so much that they had a change in mindset even. Because even Ashley, in terms of her character, she no longer really wants to compete for the title Mother of Tanks. It's more of her being want to be known for something else. And I think every single time they go up on stage, you tend to just realize how much they've matured because they're just after the wins.
Now, as we get into our pick and bans, something to note, NAVI has an extremely deep hero pick pool. 22 unique heroes in this tournament. We're talking debut picks of Chip, Masha, Bauman. They know how to play around different team comps, and we're about to see a little bit of that now.
It's a deep hero pool, but I think very limited have worked for them. There seem to have been more strategies that fit best of one type of situations rather than best of threes.
Honestly, like, their hero pool is deep, honestly, because of that. They could not figure out what works. So they tried this, didn't work out. Now they try something else, didn't work out. I gotta tell you, Brigitte, Mirai is kind of like a talent manager. Right? Because we want to get into the studio, right? Imagine if we didn't have our tags, right? She has to be the one showing her tags so that we can all go in. A lot of teams have defeated NAVI by taking Mirai out first. So without her, no one from Navi could advance forward. So I wonder if Gen.G will use this information to take her out. I believe that's one of the reasons why they pick up the Belleric first, because with the Belleric, Navi won their very first game yesterday. And now, I gotta say, Bricks, this is already an anti-tank meta, anti-tank lineup coming in from Gen.G. Bring out the Lilia as well as the carry.
Yep, and it's great ways to punish. If ever Navi do overextend or put themselves in positions that are not favorable for them, but could they be playing it differently this time? It's a Freya XP and a Granger that might just want to be a bit more safe because you have distance, you have range, but the Granger isn't the most meta of gold laners currently.
In this situation, it's not too bad because out of every mage in the game, Lilia has one of the lowest HP pools, so it's easier for you to stack up on the Sky Piercer.
Yeah, and it seems like they just want a different route in the gold lane matchup.
I'm not so sure the route is okay or not. Let me be very clear because Navi, every single game they play, they change the strategy. They play global ban without playing global ban.
Yeah, this is why I think even a lot of us are really searching for that identity of what does really comprise of Navi. What does Navi
I have the answer.
Establish in terms of their identity?
Honestly, their identity is number one, help out the mid duo first. That's step number one. They need to survive. Mirai is such a playmaker. And then number two, get not Ayanami on a hero like a Masha, like a Benedetta, like an Esmeralda, someone that can dive all the way deep into enemy territories and take down their damage dealer. She might die. Honestly, she might die.
Okay.
But the team is okay with that.
So it's more of a glass cannon situation for
Kamikaze all the way.
All right. Because I think a lot of times too, whenever we see Navi on the defense, it's not like their gold laner or mid laner really goes down. It's just that they're forced to play from behind because their frontliners are always being punished or taken out every single time, which in this scenario hopefully is not just Mirai, because Keishi did pick up the Baksha anyway.
Yep, let's look at the bans here, by the way. Gen.G already banned out 2 EXP laners, ban out the Paquito as well as the Phovius, and then 2 roamers here with the Atlas as well as the Matilda. Navi finish out their bans, Marcel, Hirara, Esmeralda, Akai, as well as the Sora. So they're really targeting Arya as well as potentially a tank jungle from Rui, bringing in that Akai. I think that's a very good idea, kind of forcing out Gen.G to use a damage dealer in the jungle, which I gotta tell you, it doesn't look like a very good assassin jungle matchup here. If they have a Bellman, Gen.G might survive this draft.
Yeah, and at least so far, Gen.G and their mid duo have been also picking up some of the more unconventional mid duos, I'd say, because yesterday I think we already got to see the Selena from them as well. But you might not really want to consider that if Navi just really want to go all in. You do have the Belleric, yes, and the Lilia, but at the same time, backline access showing that the Granger might just be a very vulnerable target could also be one of the considerations for Gen.G in this draft.
Right now, when it comes to elimination, I want teams to draft simple, right? Make a composition that has very little room for error. Even if you make a mistake, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just worried on the EXP pick here. And now, Navi, they committed onto this Eve. If they want a tank, something like an Alice might still be able to work out. Heck, maybe even a Uranus. Maybe not the best because you're going up against the Baxia, but that is one of the comforts of Gen.G.
Yep. So the Alice and potentially an assassin, which is still open to this point, but you already have to go up against the Eve. Maybe the Suyo would be tough to play in this game. But
very tough.
Even the likes of the Frederick, I think we already have to put that away now. So
that's good. Honestly, a Bellman is probably one of the better picks. It's just that, have they practiced it, right? Have they practiced it or not?
Navi did yesterday.
And they won.
Yeah.
They won. They were able to shred all the tanks. Their Bellman looked amazing. Now, 4 seconds in, this is going to be the final pick here. Guinevere as well as Ling. Now, this is very unorthodox here. Ling, I think it's okay.
We did say backline, yes,
but if Navi picks up a catch-type roamer, it's going to be tough. I'm looking at picks like the Cho here. I have not seen a lot of Chos here in MWI.
No, there's still a Cho, there's still a Kaja even, if they really want to go hard on lockdown. But Is this a Guinevere EXP? This should be the EXP, right? The Belleric is going to go in Rome, so...
There's a chance the Belleric could go EXP, actually.
You think so?
I've heard rumors from, let's be real, credible sources, right? So I'm thinking the wise choice, Belleric Rome, Guinevere there, and then the chip. They're showing the chip again. I don't know if this is the lineup for it. And look at this, it is probably going to be Belleric in the EXP, so...
Oh my god.
I gotta say, reflections based on this draft, I think we're going to have a very chaotic game one.
I like chaos, yes I do, and we're definitely going to get it with the historic teams of Gen.G and NAVI. It's a blockbuster matchup. History between the two, not only in terms of their accomplishments in the MWI, but also last year in the knockout stage. But who gets revenge and who wants to move forward to the knockouts? We're going to find out very shortly. It's Gen.G versus NAVI. Athena, Gideon, take it away.
Thank you so much. Once again, we come into our second best of 3 here today. And this one's going to be a little spicy. We got Ling already showing back up here on day 3 of MWI. But this is going to be a make it or break it for either one of these teams. Momentum starts here. First team to get that match point so far, based on how the MWI schedule has been going. The sweeps are prominent.
For Gen.G so far, we've seen them kind of react onto the draft, but a very credible source out there for Lafel, with Arya using the Belleric onto the XP. Something quite refreshing, although it's not really on the standard that we've seen here so far for MWI. But the thing is, they're up against a Freya onto the XP, plus a chip tempo changer here for NAVI PH.
Yeah, the tempo changer and the tempo breakers are going to be really, really important in this game. Arya, as much as, you know, the Wrath of the Dryads is used as an initiation tool, might just be used as a replacement to deal with the shortcut from Chip. And now, I think I'm most worried about, it's going to be that Granger, right? Because Granger, the only situation that they want to have is, yes, I am winning from the get-go in lane, and then once I get out of the lane, I can clean it up easy when Ayanami does a majority of that work. Not only does Ayanami need to win this lane, but as you can see, patrolling along enemy territory just to give that info back.
It's all about Ayanami's move for this game to actually kind of compensate onto what others will be missing out on. You've mentioned the vision.
Whoa.
Looking closer.
Actually, looking closer to this, the pathing coming in from Ruyi is very interesting. Starting on the bottom side small camps, taking another small camp, and then instantly going to purple buff before coming back to orange.
Oh, and it will be...
Ashley's fine, right? She always had her spatial migration. Also, still had that flicker as well, expecting nothing. And now look at this. They invade once more, and they see 0. All they see is one small camp, and Ling is nowhere to be found and already at level 4.
And that's the thing. That is how you somehow improvise a plan if you're the Ling, right? Because it's always going to be you invaded all over again. But the thing is that the neutral objective will be safely secured here by NAVI PH.
They didn't want to go for the contestation. They don't want to put anybody's lives at stake here. As long as nobody dies, it's totally fine. But the invade from Kenshi, as the small camps are the first to actually spawn. Look at the opposite side of the map. This is a set play from Gen.G so that they can set up and not let Rui get disturbed. But now Navi, they figured it out, and now they've adapted. One camp down unless Retribution is used here by Rui.
Oh, that's a Retri activated here for Keishi. We're trying to run away, but as you've mentioned, it's all about navigating the jungle safely for now, right? For Gen.G. It's preventing Mirai from finding the right target, which is actually Rui. And right on cue, it's going to be shortcut activated. And as I mentioned, it's going to be forcing out the Tempest of Blades here for Rui. Tempest of Blades right there, going in. Is going to be Rain with the RWM, not Ayanami, going wild. There are not a lot of kills. Actually, 0 kills at all from that initiation. It's just a purple buff being contested.
And that's bad enough, especially when you're on a Ling. Ruyi will have a little bit of downtime and doesn't necessarily have enough energy to go back and forth between lanes to search out for these finishing kills. However, Ayanami has done a very good job of relaying the information. A great play from NAVI PH, finding the little pockets of space in enemy territory, figuring out what Gen.G were trying to do with the jungle path.
Plus, it's a good idea also to kind of brute force her way, especially as she didn't get her ulti at time, right? When the purple buff was kind of contested. Now we see some reactions all over the map here. Some visions for Mirai as well. Looking forward to more clashes now that the shortcut has been activated here. Plus, another neutral objective we're keeping our eyes out on.
Now, the scary thing right now is the fact that Ashley can only do so much against that shortcut in comparison to Arya on this Belleric. So Arya somehow not only has to clear the lane a little bit faster than Ayanami, but may have to sacrifice her lane a little bit more during these neutral objective fights.
Okay, it's all about getting the better trade if ever. It's now Mirai again with Ton onto Ashley as well. RWF, perfect timing here for Rian's first blood. Not Ayanami jumping on the line of fire here for Ruby and Ashley. She's keeping it at bay. And a fresh objective take here for KC. Ashley left defenseless even with the spatial migration. She will go down, girl.
Missed opportunity with the Wrath of the Dryads. Could have knocked up 2, and now it's going to be an ever slow bleed here. This is the traditional tank v assassin matchup. It becomes oppressive, and Gen.G knew that the early game was going to be a little rough.
It is. So now they follow suit onto somehow managing some of the lanes here onto the map. But for NAVI PH, they know they just have to interrupt, continuously interrupt Ruby in the process, even forcing out the Tempest of Blade just to try and survive. Rian getting the numbers rolling. Her Granger is looking quite good here. And Arya is just all over the place. She has to be at 2 places at a time right now.
It's a losing situation for Arya at this stage of the game, right? Ideally, Gen.G wanted to stay as even as possible to Navi. This is not their other item power spike. Sayori already is, again, getting zoned out in a majority of these fights, and now finally putting the influence onto Panda.
Even the gold lane isn't safe anymore. And a waste of a Rain of Dryad. And a big info here for Rain. Although Panda 1 will be able to get the kill, a jump and a space relegation. Better to climb onto Ashley, not Ayanami from the back with the Valkyrie descent. Ensures a double kill. Might go for the triple, but Sayori flickers just in time to escape the wrath here from NAVI PH. Rui being cornered out. Things are not looking good. The 3 women here targeting her, continuously hunting her down. A turret in the process taken down as well by NAVI PH.
Oh, and look at that. I just love the protocols that I'm seeing from NAVI PH. They're like, even if we do give up that space, let's double check it again. And Mirai coming in to join this fight doesn't have the shortcut, but is enough to show presence. And now the rest of Gen.G must contest.
Okay, Ashley, with a good entry point, but the damage just isn't there yet. They need to find a way to relieve some of the pressure, but without thinking so, now the last turtle for this round obviously might go onto the hands of NAVI PH. Arya, though, she wants to contest it. Round of the Riot, perfect timing! And a clutch steal home for Ruby. Rain with the RWM, but Gen.G manages to get out of the way. Ruby with attempt to blaze, just one blade that she actually got off, and that is going to be a chase down kill here for not Ayanami.
Considering everything that has happened, pretty good overall. Like, Rui still, despite... Oh, hold on.
Oh, that's an immediate takedown onto Panda 1, but she will do. She will survive it, and that is quite scary now that Navi has tempo, and at will, they could actually go on for team fights.
Yeah, this 3.7k lead is starting to expand very far out of control as Ayanami is becoming a legitimate problem. The lane that was supposed to be controlled by Arya was going well at the beginnings, but after this point, 3 turtles, it's not looking that great. This mid-game is going to be very vicious as Ayanami now controls the entirety of this bottom side, and they're even going for a lane swap from the side of Gen.G.
But at least we saw some great catch here for Arya, right, with the Wrath of Dryad. But the thing is, you mentioned the gold lead was quite onto the side of NAVI PH. So with that said, they have to be really careful onto where they will be sending at Panda. And right at you, he just purchased her a golden staff together with the corrosion side. Now we kinda get some action or little bits of damages coming in from Gen.G if ever, but still, it's a never-ending deny and somehow vision here onto the purple buff. But now Rui finally gets the purple buff, but in the process, it's not Ayanami doing her job, taking down turret after turret.
Again, NAVI PH, they come in, they say, you know what, let's give them a forked option in chess terms is putting two pieces under threat at the same time. And unfortunately for Gen.G, they must only pick one. They chose the purple buff. They sacrificed their T2 because of that. And Ayanami is having the time of her life. Panda on the opposite side. The last hope here for the late game for Gen.G. They're going to need a lot of time for Panda to get to where they need to be because of how much pressure and most importantly, the shortening of the laning phase.
It's all about stretching out the game here for Gen.G. Just enough to try and give enough time here for Panda 1. A failed attempt there for Ashley. It's like a go here for Mirai. Going in with a shortcut. It's only not Ayanami being called in. Very nice action though for Gen.G here. Just try and negate, cut their losses as early as possible. But no, it's Arya taking the risk again. A Rain with the early RWM. The Rattertide will be catching up 3 members, but not long enough for Arya to stay alive. Not Ayanami out to Ashley. Focus fire. Panda 1 with the free hits. Now they finally do it. But at what cost? It's too expensive of a mistake to overstay their welcome there as NAVI PH slowly backs away. It's going to be a catch onto not Ayanami and Keishi. 2-4-2 trade-off there, right on cue onto the Lord Jungle.
Oh my goodness, Ryu honestly could have maybe cleaned up the rest of this. And they got the Haas Claw in time. Unfortunately, just didn't want to give another Sky Piercer stack over to Riance. They need to find this shutdown onto Riance somehow. If they can, that extends the game for them and it doesn't allow them to actually snowball out of control and they can focus all of their attention back onto Ayanami, who so far has been the big chunker. Even with Arya flickering in with the Wrath of the Dryads, bringing some members to a quarter depending on Lifesteal or Spell Vamp, some of the squishier targets, man, even Rain taking a good chunk of damage.
It's all about not Ayanami and Mirai doing a hell of a job here for game number 1. And as we mentioned, this is the kind of scenario that she really wanted, right? To give her a hero that could deal a lot of damage plus sustain the hell out of Gen.G. Now, we're noticing that Panda 1 actually has some of the items that she needed. Now, it's all about positioning. And the position here on the Lord is actually more so onto the side of NAVI PH, but for Gen.G, they're not letting go of this long push onto the mid lane.
Nope, they don't have to do much. They're gonna try and threaten the T1, but Navi is still trying to set up this fork. Getting a good push on the long lane is gonna force Rui, the fastest rotator they have on that team, to go and respond.
And that's going to be quite a sacrifice here, because Navi now knows that it will be possible to try and catch a member here for Gen.G. Nice touch onto Ashley, but not Ayanami again with a chase down. Ashley's down. KG with a follow-up. Panda 1 already taken down. Ria with those bullets hitting on the right target. 3 women down immediately for Gen.G. And that was so worth it on the side of NAVI PH and not yet finished. Sayori will fall down as well. It's only Rui left here to try and get the Lord, but no, it's too risky as Mirai will also call for backups. What a way to assert their dominance here for Navi.
I don't know if the secondary motion was necessary, but I think that at the end of the day, they're trading ults for ults, and honestly, the fact that Gen.G is losing some of these fatter ults is way better for Navi because they're not going to quote-unquote need the shortcut in enemy territory unless they are at all full fighting strength. And since all of them basically control the entire map, trying to go for that shortcut underneath towers at this stage by inhibitors is not going to be as worth it. I think Navi understand this. They're going to go into their siege tactics. They're going to use Rain. They're going to use the RWM to control everything.
Yeah, it's all about reserving the right skill sets and combos here for NAVI PH. Looking at the items are quite looking good, and a huge chunk of it is onto the hands of Rian and not Ayanami.
Yeah, and the worst part, Ayanami, with these 3 items already looking to get some anti-heal on top of that, like the sustain is looking super good.
It is.
Fortunately, if they keep on chunking Ashley out, they're not going to have a secondary anti-heal user other than Sayori. And even then, Sayori can't deal with Ayanami alone.
She can find the right angles as of the moment because Mirai and Keishi could actually pin her out of the crowd. Aurora WM red again for Rain. A perfect opportunity for them to annihilate members here for Gen.G. There's going to be an answer back here for Sayori. Double kill for Ria, making it a triple. Now they're chasing at Sayori. And Ria with a maniac. What a way to open up the pace here for Gen.G.
Yep, now looking to close out this game. They've got a mid-wave to work with, and Panda, the only one alive. Unfortunately for Panda, she can't use any AoE other than the spinning light wheels. She will try, but the Lord-empowered minions are just too much, with Rian zoning her out single-handedly. With each Rhapsody, this game closes out 17-5 in favor of NAVI PH.
A shot at Navi's redemption. That is exactly what they have in mind, what they have in store. And they finally did it here on to their first game on a very crucial deciding matchup.
Really, really difficult to deal with overall, man. I mean, when you're playing Ling into these types of tanks, it's you're hoping to stay even, if not get a little bit ahead of this Baxia. But these set plays coming in from Navi, the fact that they understood that the importance is not about how many camps that this Ling steals, it's about that purple buff from early to mid.
It's all about limiting the lifeline here, right, for Gen.G. And they hella check out all the objectives here for NAVI PH.
Yeah, but that being said, a lot to think about. But we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, more Mobile Legends action.
Navi takes map number 1 to put Gen.G at risk of having their key crushed. But Gen.G, they've been here before. They know what it is to have the pressure elevated. Let's see if they can come back. Hey, welcome back into our studio. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by, of course, Brigitte Lefel. Good to see you two once again. First off, to open up the section, Belleric and EXP for Gen.G. It was a risk, right? We knew it was. If it pays off, excellent play, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, but the question is, why didn't it work out, right? Because here's the thing, Belleric is a great hero, but he is slow, right? So that was a mismatch, because that is a situation where you're on a racetrack where not Ayanami was a sprinter and Arya was a strongman. It was not close when it comes to what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, because even for the composition of Gen.G in terms of the engage, it's mostly on maybe landing a spatial migration or two onto specific targets of Navi, but the ultimate that you expect from a Belleric seems like it's more of a means to just respond to what Navi might do. It's more of catch to the dives, and we saw it happen multiple times, but in the first few moments that we did, during those crucial times, Arya wasn't really able to be present because, as you mentioned, it's a pretty slow EXP laner if you're expecting a response from.
And we have a couple of big moments from that map number 1. We take a look at least at our first one. Now, one of the things, Lefel, you were educating me on, Gen.G, early game. Right now, they just want to stall. They want to get into that late game because of the hero composition.
Yeah, here's the thing. If we're looking at the heroes, once Rui gets around 4 items, once Panda gets 3 items, they should be able to deal enough damage to take down Navi. But that's part of the problem, right? You're playing a waiting game. You don't want to wait when you're going up against previous champions. You need to be a bit more proactive. So I feel like this is a very ambitious draft, trying to hope previous champions play the game a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Great synergy, by the way, in that clip. You could really tell that obviously Navi was firing on all cylinders. We take a look at our second action of the game, and I think we get towards the end because that was about the 13-minute mark. We now start to push through. This is where Navi says enough is enough.
Yeah, it was a conceal from Ashley, a combination of a spatial migration and a flicker, but at that moment, I'm not even sure who the target looked like. It was Keishi who was trying to like roll around the area, but even then, I don't think catching Keishi would be the best priority. So maybe they could have attempted to go for the likes of Rian or even Rain, but these two seemed like targets that you just could not reach. And that's on top of the fact that Rian actually had Purify. She barely had to use it during the entire game.
And you know what? That's a problem. Clearly at this point, I did bring up with you, Ashley, last year she didn't have as deep of a hero selection. This year, she's switching things up. She's trying quite a bit. She does go with the squishier hero. She tried that against Vitality yesterday. It didn't end up working out. This day, though, she goes for it again, and it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, this is one of those things where a lot of professional players go through, where they're mastering 1 or 2 heroes, but the meta just keeps on shifting is not enough. right now, Ashley's had a problem where she's a jack of all trades, master of none. And now going up against previous champions, you need that one or two hero that you know you're going to win.
So does she go back to default, Bree? Is it time to give up the squish, go back to the tank? I understand she doesn't want to go with the moniker of Mother of Tanks. She doesn't want that battle. But if it worked before, it didn't get a championship, but it at least got them to grand finals.
Yeah, but what does work for them? Because their only wins have been on a Minotaur. The moments she tried a Cho or a Selena, more single target type of roamers, it didn't really work out. So is it really the tanky tank that maybe they have to default back to? I feel like if they want to play a safer game, then maybe they can try to opt for that. Because if we're keeping things simple, then that might just be the way to go.
Yeah. Hey, check it out. Esports World Cup is a lot. We're talking 7 weeks, 24 different games, and you all need to keep up with the EWC app.
Thinks he can come in here and play my game. Let's go. He knows nothing. Let's go!
Tyler won. You're done.
This is my ladder. You can't climb it.
That's an L airline.
Somebody better hold me.
Okay, yeah. Do something then.
Leaving off into the EWC app, we were discussing Ashley on the tank, going with more of the squishier heroes. I question, of course, should she go back to default? Bree, you gave your answer. Lefel, you also want to give your own.
Back in 2025, these are the two heroes that Ashley did so well on, which is number one, the Grok, right? Amazing way to engage the fight, as well as the Gato Kacha, a hero that has revitalized that can actually help you win out the early game. So those are very simple heroes that's not in the meta, but he has proven that it works before. And I don't know, this might be crunch time because you might get eliminated if you draft wrong for this one.
Yeah, and I think these are roamers that can pretty much work with regardless what kind of comp that you want to go for. It also gives you a bit more flexibility in terms of what you might want to put in the EXP lane, because I feel for Arya, she might have wanted to opt for also something that could have been more of a playmaker. Yeah, a fighter type of XP laner to complement the lineup. So in that regard, to put off a bit of the responsibility off her shoulders to just be on the receiving end of majority of the plays that Navi could create, I think you can play slow. That's one thing we've established, but you also want to play much more proactive if you're Gen.G in this kind of situation.
So a couple of players, at least over the past couple of days, not living up to expectation. For Gen.G, Rui was one of them. After map 1, how did Rui look?
Here's the thing, Rui is an excellent assassin player, but the problem is, looking at how she's playing in MWI currently, sometimes she does too much. The thing about assassin players, you need this sixth sense to know when you can go in and when you don't. Sometimes you want to help your team out, but sometimes you gotta be selfish. I think she doesn't know where that line is right now, when you have to be selfish and when you can be selfless.
Yeah, there seems to be more waiting involved in terms of like the calls, when are you going to go in, like who gets to start things first. But occasionally as an assassin, I feel like you can do a lot more on your own, a lot more plays that don't have to really go through some of your other members if you just really want to like consistently find the trades, if you just want to be fast in terms of the farm. But let's see if they actually try to address that issue heading into game number 2.
They're going to have to. I mean, you got 5 players, and some clearly benefit from that. Who is the IGL for Gen.G, and who should be the shot caller and truly be leading the charge here? Because Ashley gets a lot of attention, but who else could be vocal?
Usually it's Arya, because Arya, she is on a she did the job of Ashley before. She's a roamer, and even on the national team when playing SEA Games, she got the gold medal as a roamer, as a tank main. So part of the reason why she used Bellic on the EXP. So if Ashley is not having a good time, the weight goes over to Arya's shoulders as the one making the calls, making the decisions.
Yep. We saw that in game number 1 too. I think there were a couple instances where Arya just decided to go in, try to find a setup with a flicker, Wrath of Dryad on the Belleric, but the remains of whether or not Gen.G were already equipped enough to actually deal the damage or even have the right amount of ability to just follow up and be there in that moment as well.
What does it mean for Navi right now? They're up 1-0. They're about to potentially defeat the very team that knocked them out of MWI last year. Navi hasn't been in the winner's circle since 2024. To now be at the precipice of righting their wrongs, defeating their boogeyman, they got to lock in.
I think it means a lot for them because based on what they've been able to show us in the first 2 days, they, you could say, have not been meeting as much expectations. They have been playing a relatively slower game to what you expect from former champions of the first ever MWI, and they had some changes, yes, but I don't think we're able to see the full potential of these roster changes just yet.
I'm going to dive just a bit more deeper, and I feel like this means so much more specifically to not Ayanami, right? She's been in this roster for the longest time. Back in 24, honestly, she was one of my MVP candidates for that tournament, MWI. And here, starting off this year, she had a very bad start, right?
Yeah.
She played the tank in the EXP. She could not do anything. The moment she changed back into the fighter, she found her groove. She found her identity. She found the win. So I feel like as much as there's a lot of emotional weight on Navi, I gotta say, not Ayanami, I feel like she feels it the most.
We felt it too, not Ayanami. We felt it in that Freya game. The way she just constantly went for the chase against members she just spotted out. Against Ashley, I think, to be exact. That she never let her off whenever she did find her. And I think it's also an upgrade in some way. The way you see that she's not just really dying, even though she just constantly commits to the chase.
On the side station for Stream B, it's currently underway. Another elimination match. In fact, these are going to be the last two played out before we head out into our knockout stage. It's Team Falcons Mena going against Foot Esports. Team Falcons Mena take map number 1 in sensational fashion. They also look to move forward, which is a big deal for the Falcons roster, Falcons organization in general. They could have 2 Falcons teams for MLBB for the MWI representing for the club championship race and knockouts.
And honestly, that's pretty big because we had an interview where we start off the day where Foot basically said, we always fight against Falcons and then we always win. And this time, Falcons, when it really needs to lock in, they finally defeated Foot. Well, at least for one game.
Even in the player arrivals, right? I think that was something one of the members from Foot Esports actually mentioned, that, yeah, she's feeling good about today. She's looking at a 2-0, but it seems like it's not as easy as they thought. They have to push it for a game number 3.
And I want to go back to the Gen.G Navi conversation because, LaFell, there was something you brought up yesterday to me when we were discussing NA teams in general. It seems like they've got to go through the gauntlet every single event just to make it to the next stage.
Honestly, it's a mystery. If it happens for 1 year, fine. It's been like for 5 years now.
That's insane.
Doesn't matter if it's the open qualifiers, if it's the female qualifiers, every single group that they're in, there has to be champions. There has to be former champions. There's always the favorites. I have no idea what luck that they have for 5 years straight. They're always grouped up with champions. I don't know what's going on.
For this year, though.
I swear it's not planned.
Yeah, for this year, though, shout-outs to Mirko.
Shout-outs to Mirko.
Gen.G.
He was the one drew it, and then, you know what? C'est la vie.
He's a script writer.
He's a script writer.
He's a script writer. He just needs to fill us in with the script, right? I think that would help us out a lot here on the desk. But it is tough, right, for Gen.G. Fortunate Fire, though. My goodness. And it only makes, I think, victory, especially, think about it, Gen.G making it to grand finals. They hoist the trophy. They think about their journey to get there here for the 2026 MWI. It'll make victory all that sweeter.
I gotta say, Gen.G, they sacrificed a lot. They spent quite a good time flying from North America to boot camp in Malaysia just to train so that you can face off against Indonesia, Philippines, quite strong regions in preparation for MWI. Right now, Gen.G, what they need to do is actually simple, but will they do it or not? Which is play back to their identity. I really feel like, here's the thing about philosophy. You're condemned when you are alive, because when you are alive, you have freedom. When you have freedom, you will have to face your own consequences. It's not on other people. So with
a
lot of options for Gen.G, they got to strip some freedom away and just be like, this is what we're good at. We're going to stick to it. We're not going to go too crazy.
Brother, I'm going back into VOD. I'm writing that down. I'm putting it on the wall, okay? We're talking bars from LaFell. We got our pick and band starting back up. It's a big moment for Gen.G. This hero selection is going to mean quite a bit. And the big question I have is, Ashley, where is she going to decide to go? Swish she one more time? Does she go back to what we know works, which is the tank? Let's find out.
I would also be on that same page of hopefully Ashley just goes tanky frontline setup kind of roamer for the team. The Guinevere is, yes, a setup type, but it's not the tankiest of roamers available out there. And that particular lineup demanded them to have one because it's an assassin. They had a marksman in the gold lane, and they had the tank in the EXP lane.
I gotta say, Taylor as well as Briggs, one of the reasons why IGLs or whoever's making the call, they gotta use Comfort Hero is because the more you know about your hero, the less you have to think about your hero, right? It frees up a lot of brain space, making it so that you make the right decisions. When you're using something unfamiliar, you're overthinking, how do I create my combos? How do I find an opening? But if you use something that you're familiar with, you don't have to think about it. Your hands just move naturally.
Yep. And that's very important in this scenario where you have to play for an additional game just to secure your tournament life. Esmeralda's
with the world watching, this is a lot of pressure on the players.
It is definitely a lot. A lot of XP laners already taken out, even the Freya from Not Ayanami alongside the Phobius. Look at how much Arya and Not Ayanami.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 EXP laners already out of picture. I would say the strong one now is like Arlet, Yuzong.
Yeah. But
Sora.
Does Ashley consider the Atlas here? It's the first time I think we see it open.
Atlas is good. Belleric is good. One, honestly, squishy hero that is meta is Matilda.
Oh,
but
right.
We'll see whether they pick it up. They go for the Valentina. This is, in my opinion, Briggs, very risky. I think they're picking up this Valentina to potentially deny an early Sora pick coming in from Na'Vi. But this gives Na'Vi that Belleric, and Mirai has been able to use the Belleric very well.
I agree. At least they get a Wrath of Dryad of their own if ever it does end up that way, but I guess it's a matter of comfort. Them also resorting back to that idea, if we want to ask it from Ashley, might as well do it for Sayori as well, because Sayori has been phenomenal on the Valentina either way, so maybe they're just sticking with that because it's indeed such a crucial match. But the Claude gets picked up, they secure it for the team. So the carry option is still going to be open for Gen.G. They already also see the glue on the other side if they want to match that.
Personally, for me, I would go Baxia carry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good steal from Na'Vi and already a good matchup against Claude as well as Blue.
Yeah, Baxia carry. I think keep it simple. Maybe Rui on the Assassins is something we do want to see, but if they're still trying to figure out how the playstyle will be between an Assassin jungler and a utility type, then maybe it's best to just resort to the utility.
Because honestly, if you have Valentina, you're kind of showing that you want to fight very early, right?
Yeah.
Valentina has a lot of bursts. What she doesn't have is that range. So you need gap closers. But instead, they want to go with comfort. They're picking up the Minotaur. As you say, they only really went with that one, and now showing the Uranus as well. Keeping the jungle as well as the gold lane open, I think actually might be pretty scary because we could potentially see a carry ban, but maybe Panda will go back to her signature on the qualifiers to get here into the MWI, which is that Harif.
Yeah, even recently she's also been playing a bit more of the Granger. So we're not entirely sure if that's going to be the option, but I might want a bit more damage to come
100%.
in from Gen.G because it's really just mostly the Valentina at this point. And again, the carry is likely to be taken out by Navi from this point onwards.
This is one of those games, because there's a glue, it's not bad for a Lancelot. Because even if the glue was able to get on top of you, you have many dashes, you'll be fine either way. Because now that Arya is using a tank in the EXP, it means there's going to be a damage dealer. The real question is what? And I want an assassin that can fight at level 4, not at level 15.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're considering it, but I've seen like MWI teams play a Hanabi into the glue too.
It works because
It works,
just
right?
extra bounce.
Yeah.
And hey, you can't. Stream B, we only have one loss.
Okay.
I don't know about Stream A, but Stream B, we only have one loss. So it's a viable pick. Carry gets banned out here because Briggs, the only problem I have is they don't have the damage profile for the glue. That's it. This glue can make or break Gen.G here. And now even the Bruno gets banned out. So they're really, what they're showing here, Claude wants to win the lane. They want to make sure that all the counters are out of the picture. You still have one, actually you have two, which is the Leslie as well as the Clint.
Yeah.
Which, because they have a Minotaur, maybe not be a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe not, but it's just the spread of damage I feel that could be a problem.
Nice ban. That was a perfect ban.
Oof. So much XP laner is taken out.
But I feel like a CC is going to come for Navi.
She did use it recently.
She did use it, yes.
Yeah, she can.
And it was also against the Uranus, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but she definitely has a CC in her pocket.
Yeah, because she has a lot of like XP laners brought out. The Masha, but that was last paired with a chip, so maybe not, because you see the glue instead this time. So it's up to not Ayanami as well as their mid laner Rain to pick up their heroes at this point.
Honestly, if they want, Izushi would be not bad. There you go. Izushi is picked up. It's a good counter towards the Minotaur as well as the Uranus. And it's an okay ult for the Valentina to steal, but not the most game-changing.
It's not, it's not. So the question remains, do they want to go Leslie Clint and more linear type of damage for EXP or for gold lane here and Panda? Or do they consider some of the more unorthodox? Because this Uranus Minotaur, just by looking at them, feels like you're meant to be safe, right?
Gen.G has a lineup that says we will live forever.
Yeah.
Right? It will take us 1 week to die.
Yeah.
Right? They have a lot of heal. They're going to build Flash of the Oasis. If they haven't Hanabi, actually it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense, right?
Makes a lot of sense. But the same as the Clint, same as the Leslie, heck, maybe even the Moskov. So they pick up a Suyo here. And now they pick up a Harif. So right now, Briggs, this is 100% comfort.
Yep.
This is less about the strategy and more about trust.
Yep, we're not even looking at hero synergy anymore, I guess. It's just really them individually doing their thing and being comfortable in the heroes that they use. So it's just the EXP lane for not Ayanami that we're looking at. Majority have been taken out. CC is still there. The Fove is also gone.
Technically, you can go for something like a Lapu as well. There are a few options. I feel like CC is the most right. But if you want to dive, there's still the Lapu.
Maybe not the Yuzhong because there's a Valentina, but...
I think she would be brave enough to try, honestly. So they pick up an Alice. So it's going to be a dead lane in the EXP. But during the team fights, look at all the AoE coming in from Navi. Navi is looking pretty good. I gotta say, Taylor, Gen.G, they're putting a lot of trust on the individual players here.
And I'm okay with that. You know, you just took a heavy loss. You know that your key is at risk of being crushed. What do? Go back to your comfort picks. So, like you said, LaFell, look, you don't have to think about playing. You already know what your hero is capable of and what it can do. Now you can just focus on the game itself. Gen.G going with the comfort picks. Will it pay off? That's the big question because Navi is knocking on the door of the knockout bracket. They want to reclaim gold. They want the championship. But will Gen.G shut them down one more time? Let's find out. Athena, Gideon, take it away.
Match point here, and Gen.G trying to find the equalizer to turn it into the game 3. So far, NAVI PH has been playing real good, but this draft has been interesting. When you thought they were not going to give a good ultimate to Valentina, right at the very end, they get the Throne of Ruin.
Okay, that took quite a U-turn here for the draft for Navi. But for Gen.G, that is quite fortunate, right? You finally get something that is very useful in terms of flashes here for Sayori. And speaking of the comforts as well, sticking to what you know best, even with your eyes closed. Let's see if that will reflect heavily as well here for the playstyle for Gen.G.
I want to see how this is going to play out, especially after level 4. I feel like there's going to be kind of nothing burgers in the laning phase, especially both sides. And I mean, look at even Ayanami as well as Arya having, you know, a wet noodle fight here over a Lethal Wanderer as they lose EXP on the top side. 1 minion already gone here for the Alice.
Yep. It's all about who's going to find the perfect first blood here. And as you mentioned, we're not gonna be seeing a lot of team fights yet or even 1v1s here for not Ayanami and Arya. It's all about roaming around and giving vision and assistance if whenever needed here for Navi and Gen.G.
It's about controlling the wave, but most importantly, it's about maintaining the tempo. Both compositions kind of want to play the fights really, really slow. They're looking for the high-impact engages. And early rapid boots here from Mirai as we see the gank on top.
Okay, that's going to be somewhat of a vision, but not really enough to get the first blood. We might see that on the body of Panda, but great assistance there for Ashley. Now, in a few seconds, it's going to be the turtle up in the mix, and it's Mirai finding her way already here to try and predict things on where members of Gen.G will be focusing their lots for.
They did lose a little bit of tempo off of this. Mirai had to reposition as they're looking for the right targets. And in this case, it's going to be Rui. Mirai did this the last time, right? Made Rui's life really, really difficult. But now that Rain is level 4, look at the positions.
Okay, it's Arya off to the backside. That took too much. And it gave Keishi the perfect first blood. Rain with a force crimson and beacon. And assistance with a not Ayanami, resulting onto a kill. That's 2 members down. XP and Room immediate takedown for Gen.G.
The chain CC was just a little too good. Arya couldn't even get her ult off in time. And now you see Rain down on the bottom side, getting hit by the gank!
Okay, Rui, go for the follow-up. Rian dashes out right in time. Now it's 4 members chasing them down. It's Rui being cornered out! What a commitment here for Navi. And even with a slam down spread and a grab, it all interconnects and results onto a kill for Navi.
They weren't able to find the trade. This is great for Mirai. Again, the battle spell difference creating this tempo, and now the dive.
Okay, they're forcing out a way to shut down Panda 1 as fast as they can. It's Mirai. Even tanking up most of the turret damages.
Oh boy, the shield from downtown right at max distance as well, and Sayori finally gets the Throne of Ruin as Arya looks to maintain control over that top side, but there's an interception about to happen. Keishi could punish this, and that concentration isn't going to be enough. Look, the anti-heal, Arya cannot tank the damage.
Oh my gosh. This is kind of heartbreaking, especially for Arya. To be punished like this onto the early parts of the game. Could you imagine that?
She still survived though. She played it as well as she possibly could. Waited till the very last second, waited for Ayanami to try and commit to the Throne of Ruin before committing to her mobility skill, knowing that at any point Keishi could try to go for another shield unity. Either way is played perfectly well despite the scenario.
It's all about surviving first. Then we see a plan formulating for Gen.G. And as you've mentioned, it's all about the mechanics too on what Arya could maximize with a hero such as Uranus. This is quite different what we're used to seeing for her. But let's see, for now, for NAVI PH, also taking their time before the turtle responds, and Arya just goes in with a cut, same as not Ayanami. Now, they slowly make their way downwards towards where the turtle will be respawning.
Look at this. The rest of Gen.G now looking to kind of set this up, but Rui has been completely zoned off as Mirai. Nobody can really stop Mirai from zoning him out.
Okay.
And once he gets his ult on him, even worse. And now I think that Gen.G just has to back away.
Okay, there's going to be another turn of ruin here for not Ayanami. 2 members caught in the crossfire. Ashley falling down. Immediate response onto Arya. She will go down. Double kill for not Ayanami and a turtle for Navi.
This is starting to look a little unwinnable here. Mirai gets to do literally anything she wants. Walk in, pull out a target, still not die, tank the damage, and still be relevant. She's everywhere all at once. She's super glue at this point.
She is a great provider as well. Like if NAVI PH points to anyone, Mirai could get that. Mirai will give that to them. And even onto their own purple buffs for Gen.G, they're not even able to even get that.
They're gonna have to pray here a little bit. The Navi makes the mistake, and unfortunately, it's just too tough. Rui even has to commit the retribution as well. They're unable to peel it off. I think that at this point, Rui as well as Sayori need to kind of work together to give that opportunity to kind of set the pace, right? Make sure that Mirai is CC'd enough so that Rui can actually get in on these fights to get the damage down. But still, it's such a big floodgate to get over.
Okay, it's all about changing or spicing things up here for Gen.G. Because remember, it's still the early game-ish here for both Navi and Gen.G. Although technically speaking, there is a lot of advantages. 6 minutes in, turret destroyed, multiple objectives secured, plus the jungle camp being invaded is just too much for Gen.G to handle. Although there's still a sliver of HP, as you mentioned, with the body of Sayori and Rui going hand in hand. But that is if they're not continuously being hunted down by Mirai or even not Ayanami.
Yeah, they're gonna get dived under this tier 1.
Whatever happens, will happen. And it's Ashley moving forward, not Ayanami again! With a perfect flicker, Sword of Ruin, and Mirai from the back, just soaking up loads of damage that Gen.G is trying to show over here onto Navi. Padawan was able to let her Zaman Force build in, but not enough to equate onto a kill. It's still Navi getting a great team fight center here against Gen.G.
The mechanics are starting to deteriorate. Sayori, unfortunately, just didn't flicker forward. Used the Throne of Ruins. I guess they gave up on the fight before they made the call, and now the Zaman Force out onto not Ayanami.
Okay, she will technically still survive, but no, it's going to be a chase down here for Sayori. A quick start here, and trying to regroup things up, freshen things up here for Gen.G. A start is still a start, but now that they finally get a purple bomb, it is the turtle that's going to be traded for here for Navi and Arya. Arya wants to buy some enough time, but no. It's Navi just securing the objective clean and square.
Yeah, they just have to scale Panda up. Everybody else has lost their relevance in this game. They are giving their bodies up, and luckily, I think that unless they find a huge shutdown, and even then, it's on right now, the majority of the lead is actually onto Kenshi and Mirai. Yes, Mirai will give you just a little bit of oh wait, actually Mirai is overscaling here, making a little too much money in a matter of fact. Now the lowest gold overall is going to be Rain, so no more passive gold for Mirai.
No, because Mirai actually noticed, hey, I could be anywhere and everywhere. That's actually 100% KP for her, a 205. Like imagine that. She's doing the right marks on the right targets as well. Compromising so much of Rui's jungle. Like onto the level comparisons here, Rui is also being kind of locked down here against Keishi. And now we see a more proactive play with the conceal even under the turret. They're going a bit too greedy here for Navi, but Rain as well, committing even a Crimson Beacon just to try and make things harder here for Rui with the dash Blade Surge. There's going to be another dash out, trying to survive. Not Ayanami, the rest of the gang will just focus their marks here onto Sayori and Ashley. They'll take whatever they can, and they will get it onto the hands of Sayori.
Oh, they can't cleanly walk away. They can't really open up the map, especially with this glue. They've lost pretty much every potential out here. This is just a slow and painful death from this point onwards. And Mirai can use the ult again if she wanted to, but really there's no need to. The discipline coming out from NAVI PH right now is looking great.
Earlier on the draft, we were kind of concerned that they didn't ban out the Harriet. They kind of took a U-turn onto picking up the Alice as well. Now we do understand, even though Sayori has a wonderful ulti that she could copy, but she has to technically go in the front lines, find not Ayanami on this sort of a mess, and then commit to go for a setup. But that's not happening at all, because the moment that they're being shown on the map, that's an immediate kill here for Navi, and an immediate takedown of an objective as well.
They're going to take their time with this now. The next fight is about to begin as Mirai has already initiated.
Oh, now Ayanami with a catch here on 3 members. Panda one with the Zaman Force, but it's backwards all over again here for Gen.G. And it's Ashley right now trying to find a way to escape, and she will. Mirai might be the sacrifice, and Rui finally gets a kill onto her hands. Now that was a quite bit of a messy impact here for NAVI PH, and Gen.G got 1 out of the 5.
At least they were able to get 1, and honestly, that's a pretty big win for Gen.G at the very least. At this stage of the game, 10 minutes in, we still have some Holy Shieldings to work with. So at least for Gen.G, if they can just minimize the damage and protect this long lane, they might have a chance.
Okay, it's all about Arya right now, doing a lot of the heavy lifting here against NAVI PH. The Holy Shields just might pop off. It's going to be a risk here for Gen.G. And right on cue, they were able to melt down the Lord, but a costly advantage here for NAVI PH.
Oh, no, it's not over just yet. There's still the second wave of Lord and Power minions, and you can see Mirai on Patrick's skin showing off why she is not just glue, but super glue here as they conceal and force the play underneath their turrets.
Okay, that is quite scary for Patrick going in with the conceal play as well. They just wanted to scare off some of the members, then finally get a base art out of Gen.G. Now Sayori is forced to somehow copy the Crimson Beacon for extra survivability if ever Navi decides to jump in onto the clash.
And honestly, I think that Gen.G could have taken advantage of the fact that they were going for the conceal, right? Because they should be aware that the battle spells of both Mirai as well as Ayanami were still on cooldown. So there was technically no way for them to catch them off guard.
Yeah.
Everything would have been telegraphed from the Throne of Ruins. Just Clue being, concealed and you. Now, with the Radiant Armor already purchased on top of everything that they have, right? The Glowing Wand, Cursed Helm. Panda has got to be careful. Without that Zaman Force to maintain those shields, naturally, without the Chrono Dash, she will burn.
And definitely that's the next target here for NAVI PH. You mentioned about the timing of the battle spell, so someone has to keep track of that for Gen.G. That is quite the opening, actually, the small opening, but still, that is sort of a win if ever they be able to time those timings or the battle spells out of NAVI PH. Now, they're slowly making their way. They're still conserving and denying as much as they can against Gen.G right before a Lord take onto the top lane.
I think they know they kind of got this in the bag at this point, right? Ideally, they would have finished the game a little bit earlier. They have a 7.1k, which is a phenomenal lead. And this next Lord should be the final nail in the coffin once it's right at the base. The question is, how does Gen.G, knowing that this might just be their last chance here, how are they going to win this fight? It's either they somehow steal the Lord or they annihilate Navi right now.
It's Arya falling down low here for Gen.G. Engaging from the back. It's going to be a nice setup here for Ashley, but not enough still. It's NAVI PH chasing them all around the map. Panda 1 is not a position that you would want her to. And Mirai single-handedly zoning up 2 members in a row with a grab as well. Taking a hold of Sayori. It's 2 members immediately down, which is kind of good, would be helpful in some way for Gen.G if they manage to survive. But for NAVI PH, they just want to continue their dominance, targeting Arya in the process. And there's going to be a ladder flare. So their stacks as well, enough to totally tore her down. Rui and Ashley are left to defend for their base, but I think this might be it as NAVI PH goes in for the kill, goes in for the wipeout, and eventually taking the win against Gen.G.
Spirit's broken here, but it's going to be Navi who moves on to that next stage. A beautiful game, so tactical, so slow, but most importantly, no way for the enemy team to breathe. Congratulations to Navi. We're going to be soon having a talk with one of these players up on the stage, and I gotta know what is going on through their minds, especially after a well, I wouldn't say the worst, but for some, a very dangerous day 1 and just the upward trajectory from day 2 onwards.
Imagine starting off your day on the verge of elimination, right? But now, they could finally exhale some of the nervousness, their pressure. But so far, quite a sad day here for Gen.G fans out there. But let's take a look back here onto our STC replay on what happened onto that final moment where NAVI PH totally ended that round.
Well, let's go straight to our stage here. We gotta see how these players are gonna go, because again, this is a devastating moment. Let's go up onto the stage for the crushing.
Now, Ashley, hand on over your tournament key over to Navi. Thank you so much. You fought valiantly, and your journey ends here at MWI. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and that was the exit right here for Gen.G. Now, heartiest congratulations to NAVI Philippines. You guys have clocked that ticket to the knockout stage. Congratulations. Now, with that being said, you guys were sent home by Gen.G last year. So this is essentially a grudge match. How did you guys feel going into this match?
I think this time it's our revenge for them because we lost against them last MWI, and I think my teammates were so confident then we can beat Gen.G.
Rightfully so. Not just one game, but 2 games. You guys were chasing them down. You were hungry and out for blood. Now, of course, the day is still young because we still have another elimination match coming up for the knockout stage. And you might potentially see Geltec or Team Ray Young. Who do you think you might be meeting there?
For me, any of the teams. Yeah.
Any of the teams? But which one would you be more ready for? Or excited about?
I mean what?
Which team would you be more excited?
Any teams, pero maybe Malaysia, Team Ray.
Oh, why?
I think we play good against them.
All right, so we're excited to see how that pans out later. But take your walk of victory and please claim your prize of this key that's about to be crushed. Take your walk of victory.
Last year's runner-up key is about to be crushed as Navi took the run back and ran away with it. It is time for another key-crushing moment as the dreams of the NA region are getting shattered and evaporated. As always, you know the drill. Or can I call this a drill if it's not a crushing moment itself? It is time for the key to be set and to be absolutely destroyed. Unfortunate for last year's runner-up, but Gen.G out of the tournament in the hands of Navi. It is time to go for the security check as always, as the key is now ready to be absolutely punched up. 1 key less in this tournament as we're getting close to our knockout rounds. Ooh, this actually sends shreds left, right and center. Another team out of the tournament, and of course once again congratulations to Team Navi. You guys will be back later in the tournament. We wish you the best of luck, and of course after a brilliant victory it's time for you guys to celebrate, take a rest and be back after with hopefully another shattered key between your hands. Without further ado, let's take a look at the highlights.
We book Esports World Cup up.
The hope of NA has fallen. Gen.G unfortunately will no longer have a chance to go back into grand finals and reclaim what they narrowly lost last year to Vitality, which opens up a spot in grand finals. Who's it going to be? Well, maybe Navi. An impressive win, 2-0. They have officially punched their ticket into the knockout stages. We talked about the hero selection, Gen.G going with their comfort picks. I get the idea. Unfortunately, it did not work out, but what a titan that has just fallen.
Yeah, I gotta say, so we will be talking about a game, but talk about this. There's a possibility of a 24 champion against a 25 champion in the grand finals. Now that is crazy. But talking about that game just now, we discussed how the previous series, that one mistake at the late game cost you the game. Unfortunately for Gen.G, that one mistake in the early game where Aria was just in too deep in Navi territory, and Navi having that Boxia denied Uranus of that heal. That was the mistake that gave everything to Navi.
Yeah, it's understandable. You expect the Uranus to just be very aggressive in the lane, potentially go for those early cuts, but it's different. Now you look at Navi and their lineup, they're also very tanky dudes who are just prepared to fight you on in the early stages of the game. And it just snowballed into more and more kills to the most unfortunate targets. I think Rui followed next after that kill onto Arya. So these two